Dragon Ball Apprentice Angel Chapter 121-140. Chapter 121 Summoning Order of the Number 1 Killer in the World. Is it gold? Asked Krillin. Well, pure gold is worth a lot of money, right? Immortal Turtle nodded. There are writing on it, and the writing seems to be left by my master. Teacher Wu Tian's master. Is that Mr. Wu Tato? Krillin was stunned and asked. Your kid knows a lot. The turtle immortal nodded, looked at the gold card carefully, and pondered that this gold card does look old. Strange, why didn't you find it before? Teacher Wu Tian just found this picture book, right? Krillin rolled his eyes, but it's still an unexpected wealth. Yes, the picture book at the bottom of the press box has been treasured for many years. The turtle immortal smiled and looked at the gold card in his hand. The gold on it is hundreds of years old. Teacher, look at what is written on the card. Keelan asked curiously, isn't it some martial arts secret? Cheats shit. Gui Xian was reprimanded, but he still carefully looked at the words on it and muttered, this is written with the summoning order for the number 1 killer in the world. It is said that if the king of Piccolo breaks the seal, he can summon the number 1 killer in the world to kill him through the summoning order. The number 1 killer in the world, isn't Dao Bai. Keelan scratched his head and got out of the way. Dao Bai in the teacher's time was still a child, not a killer. The turtle immortal reprimanded, then, who is the number 1 killer in the world your teacher said? Keelan asked curiously, and then smiled, but Mr. Wu Tato probably didn't think of it. The great demon King Piccolo was wiped out by Wukong. Speaking of the great Piccolo King, it has been a long time ago. Immortal Turtle shook his head and ignored this gold-made card, and threw it to Klein. Did you just replace it? Is it suitable? See what I do. Don't know that we are very poor lately. Immortal Turtle glared and reprimanded, and you kid, you know how to eat all day long, and you don't know how to make money. Teacher, I don't eat much, but when Wukong is around, I eat more. Keelan said that he was very innocent, so he had to pay attention to Keelan and continue to look at the beauty album. But teacher, if we really lack money, why don't we ask Bulma for some points? It won't be so hard. Klein smiled and said, are you too embarrassed to speak? The turtle fairy stared. Krillin scratches his bald head. Yeah, it's a little embarrassing. All right, I'll change it for money. This gold-made card is enough for us to eat for more than a month at least. Keelan looked at the gold card in his hand, and immediately rose to the sky. The turtle immortal ignored Klein. Mr. Wu Tato, you are really worrying too much. The era of Piccolo is over. Even the era of Teacher Wu Tian has disappeared. It's Super Saiyan era. Just let those young people toss it out on their own. I'd better look at my beauty's picture book. Turtle Immortal's eyes have once again become heart-shaped, and they look at it with relish. Krillin turned into a white on and moved rapidly towards the landing ground. At the same time, the battle between Piccolo and Sharu kicked off again. Sharu was not Piccolo's opponent at all, and was beaten to the point of being defensive. HMPH, form is not good for you, Sha Biao. Piccolo chuckled, also, Sun Wukong and Vegeta are flying towards this side, it seems that your plan is going to fail. Is it? Sharu smiles. Is it funny? Vic said coldly. Solar science. Sharu put his hands on both sides of the dangerous cheeks. Immediately, a dazzling light scattered around Sharu's head, and Piccolo's pupils shrank, his face turned pale, and the color was already lost. When Piccolo's vision returned to normal, Sharu had already hidden fluid. The breath disappeared and disappeared. Damn, hateful, hateful. Piccolo was furious, and the breath on his body burst out. Is it really Piccolo? At this moment, Sun Wukong appeared in the sky and looked at Piccolo below. Vegeta was surprised and turned to Piccolo with a complicated expression. He was a little surprised for a while. Vegeta clearly sensed that Piccolo's powerful aura was far more than that of himself, the Super Saiyan. Why? Why is this? From Vegeta's point of view, whether it's Bardock or Broly, both of them are Saiyans, so let them surpass him. Ask for flowers. But now, the strength of this Namekian actually surpassed his own. Vegeta was not very calm. Vic, What happened? Sun Wukong fell from the sky and asked curiously that Vegeta also landed nearby with a shocked look on his face. He gave Piccolo a deep look at this Namekian. How did he increase his strength to this level? Well, Heelin and Tianjin Fan are flying towards Yi. Let's talk together. Piccolo looked up at the sky. Krillin was originally shot to go to the city to exchange gold. But out of curiosity, I ran over. Heelin and Tianjin Rice arrived almost in tandem. Piccolo is no more. He immediately told the story of Sharu and the androids one by one. As for the androids, Piccolo deduced them, but what he said was not much different from the real situation, but it was related to the suspicion was about Roger's layout. Piccolo didn't say that it was just Piccolo. No, it was the suspicion of the gods. Before finding evidence, some words can't be messed up. Piccolo decided to find a chance to test Roger. Maybe just the truth will be revealed to you that your divine status is high, so what can you do? I am the most powerful warrior. Sometimes I'm so confident. Red Ribbon Corps, Dr. Grow, Cyborg, to kill me. Sun Wukong scratched his head. Xiao is a brain-troubled android. Kinda interesting. Vegeta smiled slightly. At the moment, the three androids haven't done anything bad except rob a car. Piccolo pondered, so what we need to do now is to find a way to find Sharu as soon as possible. If you have the time to find Sharu, it is better to kill the three androids directly. No one will absorb Sharu, so it will be easy to deal with. Tianjin Rice proposes. Che, what are you doing so hard? Let him absorb his wife's absorption. There are fewer enemies, and it saves so much trouble. Vegeta looks on. That Lepping, what happened? Too many oddities today. Sun Wukong is thinking about Lepping's problem. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 122 You Call Me Again, Bei Gun Gun. Lepping. Kaylin was stunned for a while, then turned to Sun Wukong. How to say? He was with the two androids. Sun Wukong said, and it has become very powerful. Wukong, stop kidding, you must have made a mistake, right? Krillin said quickly. Maybe it's wrong because the two androids are called Lepping and they are number 18. Could it be that the android number 18 was transformed by Lepping? Sun Wukong is very imaginative. Bick. Piccolo didn't pay attention to this issue. It was too early to come to a conclusion. Well, one day, we spent a day looking for Sharu. If this guy is too cunning, we'll stop looking for him, look for androids. Bick has the final say, the strong one has the final say. Piccolo also has another idea, that is to go to Roger alone and confirm that 193 inches recognized his identity is correct. I have a summoning order for the number 1 killer in the world left by Mr. Wu Tian's teacher. Do you want to summon him? Come and try. Kaylin scratched his head and took out the golden card Sun Wukong Tianjin Rice. Yo-yo, are you joking? No one cares about Krillin. Also the world's number 1 killer. Did you let Taobai come to deliver the vegetables? Someone went to talk to Kaylin, and no one asked about the origin of the gold card. Tianjin Fan, Kaylin, you two should immediately find a TV to watch the news, check Shaw_S movements, and notify me immediately once you find the target. Vic made an arrangement. Yes. Tianfan nodded. Krillin didn't speak, he was in a daze with the summoning order. Goku, Vegeta, the two of you are also on call. Vic looked at Monkey King and Vegeta and scratched his head. Che, Namekians, you said you had us both on call at all times. Are you ordering me 2 inches? Beta is not happy. Yes, I am ordering you. Vic nodded. Hateful, do you know who you are talking to? Vegeta is furious that I'm talking to you, Bei-gun. Piccolo looks calm. Please call me again, Bei-gun. Vegeta's nose crooked with anger. Bei-gun, do you think I'm still the same me? Vic sneered, and the breath from his body radiated endlessly. Vegeta's face froze, her expression became violent, and she couldn't help trembling. Vegeta knew that with her current strength, how could it be that she was not a match for Piccolo at all? What exactly did you do? Vegeta asked Piccolo with a dark face. I see, you assimilated with the gods, right? Clin suddenly thought of something, and quickly asked Piccolo to smile at Dad. Clin. What? Just assimilate. Vegeta is stunned. Well, I don't want to talk anymore, I'll go now. Vic said Tianjin Rice and immediately flew up. The big picture family is here. Keep it simple, there is so much on the picture of the empty contract. I want to surpass it, I want to surpass Super Saiyan. Vegeta even trembled slightly. Ha ha ha, Vegeta, we thought of being together. Sun Wukong smiled slightly. Come with me, I will take you to a place to practice. Sun Wukong said, extending his hand friendly. Cut. Vegeta snorted and put his hand on Sun Wukong's shoulder. Goku disappears with Vegeta in a flash. Sun Wukong first went back to pick up Sun Wufan, and then used teleportation to go to the temple. Sir, I'm sorry to bother you. Sun Wukong greeted Mr. Wave on the temple, and briefly said the characteristics of the spirit and time cabin to Robogeta. I will go in first. You don't object, do you? Vegeta's heart is happy. Sun Wukong nodded. Baozi Mountain, Wukong's home. Kiki stood at the door of the house, eager to see. Aren't Goku and Gohan coming back soon? Why is there no movement yet? Kiki whispered and coughed. Keelan and Tianjin Fan also acted. At this time, where does Kelling still have the mind to exchange gold? Kaylin hurriedly returned to the Guixian house with Tianjin Rice. What? Come back to watch TV. A mortal turtle couldn't react a little after hearing it. Piccolo looked away, looking in the direction of Bulma's house. No matter what, he went to confirm it first. Vic said solemnly. Pic rushed into the sky and flew towards the location of Bulma's house. Just as Piccolo was about to arrive at the western capital, a figure flickered in midair, blocking Piccolo's way, and we met again, the Namekian. What did the other party say? Are you Raditz? Piccolo was stunned. Raditz? How did Raditz come back to life? Although Piccolo was a god in the past, what Roger didn't want others to do could still be done easily. At present, few people knew that Labanxi had been resurrected. Wukong knew that he knew, but his nerves were relatively large, and he didn't say it was me. Raditz smiled. I never thought that I would meet you here. This is the fate bestowed on us by God. How did you come back to life? Piccolo was a little surprised. It seems that Dragon Ball has not resurrected Raditz in recent years. Besides, Raditz is indeed dead. What on earth is it? You killed both me and Kakarot that year. You should know what I came to see you for this time, right? Raditz said coldly. Go away, I don't have time to talk to you. Piccolo said indifferently. Raditz, it is already past tense. Piccolo can easily kill it. However, the opponent is too weak. Piccolo is too lazy to kill this opponent, but I have become very strong, and my combat power in 2.7 is more than 100,000. Rabants are very proud. 100,000 combat power. Piccolo covered his face, speechless. Are you afraid? I'll show you this, Saiyan Wrath. And, I am strong. Raditz sneered, and the breath on his body surged frantically. Bang bang bang. Raditz just punched and kicked at Bic. Piccolo didn't take evasion at all, and let Raditz's attack bombard him after more than 10 seconds. Raditz's appearance became extremely ugly, and her body trembled violently. I thought you were amazing, so it's just a little bit. Piccolo said coldly and pointed his hand at Raditz. He didn't want to kill you at first, but after thinking about it again and again, it would be more appropriate to kill you. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 123 Ruosi, do you want to kill him to silence him? An energy bullet shot out from Piccolo's hand and smashed towards Raditz. Just when the energy bullet was about to hit Raditz, a figure suddenly appeared on the scene. I saw this man grab Piccolo's release with his hand. Energy bomb. Gently squeezed Vic's energy bomb. It was pinched into a cloud of smoke. What did it completely disintegrate? Goku. Vic blurted out with shock written all over his face when he saw the person coming. However, after Piccolo finished speaking, he realized that something was wrong and it wasn't Goku. This man looks exactly like Sun Wukong. But he is definitely not Sun Wukong. Who is he? Dad, you came just in time to kill him. Rades bared his teeth and said to Bardock that you are the father of Sun Wukong. Piccolo glanced at Rapunzel, and looked at Bardock in amazement. You are Kakarot's friend. 15. It won't kill you, you go. At the same time, Bardock's face was indifferent. At the same time, Bardock's breath also released a part of it, and Piccolo was so frightened that his color changed, and his back was sweating. Too terrifying. Monkey King's father is terrible. Just simply going there to fight, it gives people a feeling of extreme danger. How did he cultivate? Didn't he die during the explosion of planet Vegeta? Wrong. Sun Wukong's father, how could divine power emerge from him? How did this happen? Thanks. Vic hasn't been stupid enough to take the initiative to provoke Bardock. He thanked Bardock and turned around to go to Raditz. Even your combat power is disgraceful. You remember it for me, if you don't have it. Before I become a Super Saiyan, put my tail up. Bardock shouted that Bardock kicked Raditz away. Go back. Bardock shouted. This kid is really an idiot. After going out to buy some food, he actually ran over to challenge Piccolo. Fortunately, he showed up in time, otherwise he would hang up. Bardock took a deep breath. Since he came out, he was so close to his master, so he should go and see his master. Didn't he want to help him take Feizuji over? It's been 3 years, why is there still no movement from Mao? Bardock turned into a white-on and flew in the direction of Bulma's house. Soon, Bardock caught up with Piccolo. Piccolo felt that Bardock was catching up, his face changed color, and he raised his vigilance. Is this guy here to kill me? Piccolo is worried. Epic's confusion, facing Monkey King's father. He is like a 3-year-old child facing an adult, is he? Bardock also saw Piccolo in front of him at this time, and he couldn't help but wait. Piccolo was scared and turned white. He had already sensed that Bardock was following behind him, but the other party didn't surpass you and didn't say anything. It's very confusing. Hey, what are you doing? Vic's face was dark, and he finally couldn't help but ask for the way. You don't have to be afraid. Since I said I won't kill you, of course I won't shoot. Of course, you can also do something to me, but the premise is that you have to have the strength to defeat me. Bardock looked at Vic with a smile and said. Piccolo stopped talking. I don't know why, from the moment he saw Bardock, he felt an inexplicable fear. This person is too scary. Especially the divine power on this man is simply amazing. Piccolo gritted his teeth, ignored Bardock, and abruptly accelerated his flight. Piccolo landed in the yard of Bulma's house. Piccolo saw Roger, who was eating food, and 2 unfamiliar women in the yard from afar. The water ball on the water ball seems to be a projector, and a video image is displayed on it, and several square pictures are displayed on it, each showing 7 grams with wide-eyed eyes. Piccolo looked at the squares one by one. Among these squares are the positions of Sun Wukong, Sha Zong, Vegeta, Sun Wuhan and others, and what they are doing. Of course, including myself. Let him find out. Do you want to silence it? If Ruosi saw Piccolo looking over here, she couldn't help but ask, cough, cough. Ruosi, killing someone to silence or something, that was done by the god of destruction. Vados shook his head and sighed at this silly sister, who used to not so. Then, Vados glared at Roger fiercely. Piccolo gave Ruosi a surprised look. Are you going to kill me? Do you have this ability? Piccolo didn't get to meet a little girl. To Piccolo, the little girl Ruosi is nothing special. Roger, you. Pic gritted his teeth, clenched his fists, and looked directly at Roger. Piccolo has already thought about it. If Roger is really planning the layout later, he will be arrested immediately. At least, Piccolo was on Roger, but he didn't confuse the powerful divine power, nor did the 2 strange women, but their outfits were a bit weird. The blue circle floating on their heads, what does 480 mean? Piccolo may be an ornament. Forget it, it doesn't matter. Just when Piccolo spoke, Bardock fell from the sky and landed on Roger's master. Bardock bows and salutes. Last time Roger not only resurrected Raditz, but also saved Kakarot's life. According to the agreement, Bardock needs to be Roger's servant for 100 years. So Bardock had to call Roger, Master. Is this what a servant should at least do? Here comes Bardock. Roger smiled slightly, indicating that Bardock can get up now. Owner. Vic was stunned. Monkey King's father called Roger the Master. How is this possible? Vic is really shocked. Has even a powerful guy like Bardock been subdued by Roger? Piccolo doesn't look very calm. By the way, what did you just say? Roger asked Piccolo if. I didn't say anything. Piccolo immediately replied low-key, low-key. If he took the initiative to find trouble with Roger at this time, Bardock, who was Roger's servant, would have killed himself directly, right? I know what you are going to say, don't doubt me, otherwise, you will be very tragic. Roger said indifferently no, with this time, focus on defeating Sharu. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 124 She ate mustard as chocolate. Piccolo didn't speak. Even if Sharu becomes a complete body, don't expect us to save you. If you want not to be killed, you can only work hard on your own. Roger looked at Piccolo and said that Kig was silent. That is to say, with the appearance of Sharu, will Roger stay out of it? Who is he competing for? Is he really in Butong? Roger was a little unhappy, and the pressure was released. I only heard a muffled sound, and Piccolo was crushed into the ground at that time, leaving only one head. I said, don't question me, I know exactly what you are thinking. Roger put his foot on Piccolo's head and said coldly. Piccolo turned pale with fear, and broke out in a cold sweat. He can read minds. You are dismissed. Roger snapped his fingers. Piccolo jumped out of the ground. Roger waved his hand lightly, and Piccolo drew an arc in the air, gradually drifting away. Just at this moment, Bulma and number 18 came over and looked up. Was that Piccolo just now? How did he come and go? Really? Leaving without saying hello, rude guy. Bulma snorted displeased Bardo Spartak. Piccolo was thrown out by Roger. Bulma, there is something wrong with your eyes. 18 was silent. 8th, Bulma enthusiastically made an invitation. 8 did not refuse, and decided to stay and see the situation. By the way, Mr. Bardock, didn't Roger promise you? Are you going to bring your child to Earth to live? Vados suddenly interjected. Bardock gave Vados a look. This is an agreement between him and Roger. He doesn't want a woman to intervene since Roger doesn't have time for Miss Bulma, but there is a spaceship here -1 inch. Vados smiled, didn't he? Miss Bulma. Bulma looked towards Roger. Bulma Bingche is smart and knows what Roger is playing with these two women, so Bulma can't go to outsiders either. Give it to him. Speaking of which, I'm a little lazy. It takes 10 minutes to go back and forth for about 20 minutes. Roger shook his head, even thinking about whether he should find a chance to learn to move between schools, but it seems that no angels use teleportation yet. That thing is fast, but not enough to pull the wind. It is more vigorous to fly. Of course, Roger thought about it, he should learn it when he has time. Time still matters. Okay. Bulma immediately took out a universal capsule and threw it out. The capsule turned into a cosmic flying sun. This spaceship is the same as when Goku came back from the planet Adlat, and I remodeled it later to make it bigger. Bulma explained briefly. Bardock, where is your wife's planet? I log into the computer, and I can go directly. In the S39 region, a galaxy in the east, that planet is somewhat similar to the ancient times of Earth. Bardock nodded. Not long, back and forth for 20 days. Bulma wipes her sweat. 20 days back and forth. It only takes 10 minutes for Roger to fly. Bulma obviously also thought of this question, and was speechless for a while. 18 also looked at Roger in surprise. It takes 10 days for a spaceship to fly over, but it only takes 10 minutes for you to fly over there. Who are you deceiving? Okay, thank you. Bardock nodded lightly and hesitated again. Master, I'll take Raditz to pick up Jine, okay. Lien. Roger doesn't care, but remember, come back quickly when you pick it up, don't find it when you look for it. Clear, Bardock replied. Bardock quickly took Raditz over, and with Raditz set foot on the spaceship soared into the sky, broke through the void, and entered the space. Roger smiled and looked at the faraway Space Department. Look at Vados again to see what I do. It is more appropriate for someone who is not important to leave, so as not to break the rules. Vados smiled. Also, it's not illegal to ask Bardock to go to the planet Catra to pick up his commissioner, which is a normal occurrence. Vados, you said it's just for the 2 scepters, what about it? You are calculating too much. Roger sighed. Actually, if you want, I'll give it to you. You don't need to be so troublesome now, then you give it to me. Stop playing. Ruosi stretched out her hand. Roger glanced at Ruosi, but didn't answer. Ruosi, Roger can't bear it. Vados slightly. Open the bow without turning back the arrow. Now, it's too late. Roger replied, a liar. Shameless. Ruosi stared. Roger, I can have no calculations. Vados smiled. I think you may have misunderstood me. Hope so. Sui Jia nodded lightly. Not to mention Sister Vados, I suddenly discovered that the food on Earth is not bad, and it can catch up with the food star of our 6th universe. Ruosi changed the subject, ate a mouthful of mustard-flavored ice cream, inhaled hard with tears streaming down her face, stuck her tongue out. It's so enjoyable. It's not bad, but this barbecue is delicious, but it feels like my tongue is on fire. Vados's face was ruddy because of being perverted and spicy. Hey, he has survived. Roger. You 2 silly angels. So happy to eat this kind of food. So poor. Bulma also looked at the 2 female angels with sympathy. Bu Wang Hao, Irma even wondered, are they really gods? How could they eat something so unpalatable without even looking at Roger? No, ask Roger, do you want to get the 2 of them something to eat? Such a sad angel. Hey Bulma, are you sure they're both angels? Number 18 lowered his voice and asked, especially the yellow-skinned girl. I feel a little silly. She eats the mustard as chocolate and makes a little noise. Maybe they can hear it. Bulma gestured quickly with her eyes. No talk on the 18th. Fortunately, it is impossible for Vados and Ruosi to keep their ears up all the time. That would be a very criminal man. Besides, one of the 2 girls was choked by mustard, and the other was hot with chili peppers. I don't have time to listen to Bulma and number 18 talking. Am I going a little too far? Suji sighed in his heart. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 125 Piccolo. Roger is so powerful. Piccolo got up from the ground. So powerful. Is Roger that powerful? Also, who are those 2 women? Piccolo feels like his brain isn't enough. After thinking about it, Piccolo decided to deal with Sharu first. Roger has lived on the Earth for so many years. If he really wants to destroy the Earth, he should have done it long ago, right? As for whether it was Suji who was planning or something, maybe, when Goku and Vegeta surpassed the Super Saiyans and gained strong strength, it would not be too late to go to Roger. Piccolo soon realized that there is no reason to hold on to Roger's business, and Roger must be the initiator of this incident. I'll see if Keelan and Tianjin Fan have found Sharu. Vic pondered in a low voice, but then, Piccolo's heart moved. Why don't you go to Bulma's house and watch Roger's projection in secret? Doesn't that projection have Sharu's exact location? Piccolo hesitated for a while, but he still didn't pass. Go now. Piccolo believes he's going to be beaten badly. Piccolo soon shows up at the Turtle Fairy's home. How's it going? Vic asked. Over there. Found it. We were looking for you, Piccolo. Krillin hurriedly glanced at the news of Sha 077 Lu on the TV, and Klein and Tianjin Fan immediately caught up with the sky. Piccolo was suspended high above the sky. Paya grinned, resentful. What a cunning guy. Vic said solemnly. On a stone below, Sharu's body was hanging upside down, his breath was restrained, and he hummed with a smile on his face. I know your actions like the back of your hand, so you want to find me. What a fool's dream. Sand sneers. A day has passed. On this day, Sharu and Piccolo played hide and seek. No matter how hard Piccolo and the others tried, they were still unable to find Sharu. I can't find it anymore. Go find androids. Vic gritted his teeth. As long as the androids 17 and 18 are destroyed, Sharu will not pose a deadly threat at least. Tianjin Meal. I already said I wanted to destroy the androids, but you didn't listen. Want me to say, why don't you try this summoning order for the number 1 killer in the world? Keelan took out the gold card and suggested that Tianjin Fan glanced at Klein, but didn't speak. Piccolo also looked at Krillin. He didn't know what to say. Act now, BFCB. Looking for androids, Vic said loudly. Shish. Piccolo and Tianjin Fanrin quickly flew into the sky. Krillin put away the gold card and sighed helplessly. Under the hard work of the 3 people, they really found some clues about the 3 artificial humans. Go, Vic greeted, but you don't fight for a while. They should be very strong, at least stronger than that Lu. Otherwise, Sharu will not absorb the essence of human life and strengthen himself. Sharu is to defeat the artificial man. Tianjin Rice nodded solemnly. Really don't have to try to summon this world's number 1 killer? Keelan asked again. Also, when you see the androids, you may see Lepping. Vic has to take care of Keelan Lepping. What do you mean? Tiantanfin is slightly startled and you will know after a while. Vic shook his head. 10 minutes later. The 3 of Vic fell directly across from Lepping, number 17 and number 16. Are they androids? Keelan silently looked at Lepping. His face turned a little red. Such a beautiful girl couldn't sense their breath at all, Tianjin Fan said solemnly. Isn't that guy Lepping? Am I reading it wrong? Vic gave Keelan a strange look at Lepping. Did you say that girl? Keelan wondered. Isn't this Vic? Lepping laughed and greeted. Also, Keelan and Tianjin Fan, why did you come here on the 17th with a dull expression, and even a little bit of disdain? 16 also looked calm. He didn't pay attention to these 3 people. No matter whether he was Lepping or who, I will explode with all my strength and find a way to kill number 17 as quickly as possible. You two pay attention to that number 16. Not sure about his strength. Vic whispered that Keelan and Tianjin Fan nodded. Yes, Lepping is not important, just let him. How? Are you 3 running here to challenge me? Number 17 asked with a cold face. Hey, leave it to me. I will deal with them. Lepping said with a smile. I want to tell them that I am the strongest person on earth. You. No objection on the 17th. Kunlong. Just as Lepping's words fell, Piccolo also burst out with powerful energy. He is not Piccolo. 16 also widened his eyes. What? Lepping was stunned for a moment. What are you kidding? It's not Piccolo. It's obviously Piccolo. Number 17 didn't speak. After Piccolo's breath broke out, he went straight to number 17 and whistled towards number 7 hole and shrank. Piccolo attacked frantically and slapped number 17 in the face. Number 17 took a shot and flew backwards. Piccolo quickly caught up, flew up, and kicked number 17 into the sky. The energy in Piccolo's hand kept emerging. An energy humming gathered around number 17. Number 17, you are dead. Vic smirked. At this time, number 17 also reacted, adjusted his body, circled around, and silently looked at these energy. When did this guy Vic become so powerful? Vic yelled. Shish. Suddenly, the energy bombs in the sky bombarded in the direction of number 17. Above the sky, amazing energy erupted. Dao Dao's powerful breath raged in the air, and the momentum was amazing. There should be results. Vic smiled slightly. The burning fog gradually dissipated, revealing the figure of number 17, and what was the protective shield released by number 17. Is it a protective cover? This guy. Vic slapped his teeth, a little less calm. I didn't expect it, Pick. Number 17 smiled coldly and looked at Pick with squinted eyes. Actually, I didn't even think about it. Why did you kill me? I admit that I am not a good person, but I am not a bad person either. But since you're going to kill me, I'm welcome. As he spoke, murderous intent appeared in his eyes. The two started to kill in the air and on the ground. It was difficult to tell the winner for a while. What happened? Krillin. Leping approached Kaylin's side and asked. Ah, you are you. Krillin was a little nervous when he saw the beautiful girl. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 126 Leping, I am the protagonist. At present, only 2 humanoids, Shalu, and Keelan and Tianjin Fan will be regarded as 18 when they arrive in Leping. Therefore, after seeing Leping, Keelan immediately sees it as a beautiful girl. This beautiful girl is actually not the image of the 18th. What Keelan saw was just the goddess appearance Keelan imagined out of thin air. Why are you still so red? I am Leping. Leping was stunned. What are you kidding? Is Leping transgender? Kaylin gave Leping a deep look at such a beautiful girl. Could it be Leping? Kidding. What's the mess? Leping stared. Okay, I'll ask you, what's going on with Piccolo Tilda? Seeing that such a beautiful girl took the initiative to start a conversation with him, Keelan had nothing to hide, and immediately told the story of Sharu briefly. Sharu, absorbing the 17th and 18th. Leping was stunned. By the way, who is number 18? Unlucky enough, aren't you the 18th? Number 16 inserted a sentence. Keelan and Tiantan Fan nodded together. Leping's expression froze, and his heart sank involuntarily. Damn, I'm the protagonist, okay. Could it be that when I became like this, I wanted the sand to be absorbed? Leping suddenly felt that the whole person was not well. 18, you have to be careful. Krillin solemnly warned me that I am not the 18th. I am Leping, Leping said loudly. Leping is a man. Kling is also confused. I'm a man, okay. Leping was anxious. Well, you are. Kaylin took a deep look at Leping and stared at his chest. Is this the characteristic of a man? Not at all. Leping slapped Kling to the ground with a slap. What's your look like? Leping was so angry that his nose was crooked, and Kaylin got up from the ground with a wry smile. In fact, we originally thought about finding Sharu and killing Sharu, but Sharu is too cunning and can hide his breath. We couldn't find him, so we had to choose to kill number 17 and... Keelan shook his head and wanted to kill number 18, but he didn't say it in front of Leping. Not far away, the battle between number 17 and Piccolo continued. It's a little overwhelmed. Needless to say, your strength is not bad, and you can play on an equal footing with me. Number 17 chuckled and looked at Piccolo, but over time, your disadvantage will be revealed. My energy is eternal and will never decrease, but you don't have much energy, right? What did you say? Vic's heart sank and his face changed color. You don't even know my characteristics, how dare you come up to challenge me? Number 17 smiled slightly. It's troublesome, I didn't expect number 17 to be so powerful. Piccolo clenched his head tightly, his body shivering. At this moment, Piccolo sensed Sharu's breath, turned his head, and saw a mountain in the distance. Sharu of standing. It's Sharu. He came. Vic's face changed color. How? Who is that monster? Number 17 obviously noticed Sharu, but he didn't know that number 17 was just focusing on fighting Piccolo, and he didn't hear Kelling's words. Lu jumped down and walked towards this side. And in the process of Shalu's march, the aura on his body also burst out little by little. Feeling Shalu's powerful aura, Piccolo's face became more and more ugly. Vic, do you want to stop me? Sharu glanced at Bika with a smug look on his face. Too terrifying. Sharu's breath is terrible. In just one day, he has grown to such a degree. Funny, I'm still looking for him. You know how many innocent humans you have killed. Vic shouted hum hum hum, they should be able to become part of my body, they should be confused and honored. Sharu smiled and when he said this, Sharu walked in the direction of Leping step by step. You don't come here. Leping's face turned pale with fright. What are you looking for me for? Lao Su is Leping, okay. Krillin was also immediately ready to fight. Shalu's tail swept lightly, and directly sent Kaylin flying. Immediately after, Shalu's student attacked, hitting Leping's abdomen heavily. Leping spat out a mouthful of blood at the time, and flew backwards. Leping felt that he was too sad. Why has he become so powerful, and still can't even beat this monster? Xiaolu Yiba learned to take a photo, and flipped Leping in the air. Deshalu grabbed Leping's 2 arms, and the tail behind him swooped down, and the tail of the tail became bigger, and he gave Leping to him at once. Wrapped up. At this critical juncture, number 17 attacked violently, kicking Sharu's tail with 1 foot, absorbing the interruption. What happened? What is this monster going to do? Number 17 asked angrily. To put it simply, he is an artificial man made by Dr. Jero, and his body is not complete yet. It will only be complete after absorbing you and number 18. Vic's eyelids are sweating, it's just that he absorbed Leping. What does that mean? Piccolo, she's clearly number 18. Said Krillin loudly. Piccolo doesn't speak anymore, he's tired. Don't care so much, this guy is very powerful, let's join forces to destroy him. Vic suggested. Humph, want to absorb me? You ugly monster. No. 17 was angry and roared in the direction of Sharu. Number 17 hit Sharu's danger with a heavy punch. Looking at Sharp again, he looked down at number 17 like a normal person. What? Number 17's pupils shrank and his face was ugly. Sharu hit number 17's abdomen in one fell swoop. I originally wanted to absorb that woman first, but since you came here and disrupted the order, then start absorbing from you. Sharu sneered and wrapped his tail towards number 17. Clap. Sharu felt that he was tapped twice on the shoulder. Shazung turned his head to the right, and found that it was a strange guy. However, Sharu can guess that this guy should also be an artificial human who smiled at Ruosuru, punched Sharu's face with a snort, and flew out at that time. Damn, Sharu rubbed his face and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 127 Hitter is dispatched. 16. Is this guy so powerful? Leping looked at number 16 in surprise. Damn it. I am the protagonist. On the 18th, let's get out of here, while they fight. Keelan kindly persuaded Dao to get out. I'm not number 18, I'm Leping. Leping said angrily, but you really look completely different from Leping, don't you like Leping? Kling scratched his head. Kling. Are you an idiot? Leping was so angry that his nose was crooked, and he grabbed Kling's collar. At this moment, a shiny golden card fell from Kling's body. What? Leping was slightly startled, glanced at the gold card, possessed Ping and vomited. This is the summoning order for the number 1 killer in the world. Lin explained. The world, S number 1, 077, killer. Peach White. Leping was stunned for a while, then glanced at Kaylin, then at the provincial gold card. It's not Dao Bye-Bye, but it was left by Wu Tian's teacher, Wu Tato. Keelan rode. Mr. Wu Tato, is that the guy who sealed the great demon King Piccolo? Leping Shenyan rode number 18, you really know a lot. Klein smiled red-faced. There is a line of small characters on it, which is a spell to summon, right? Leping asked me if I tried it. It was useless, and there was no reaction at all. Kaylin said, Kaylin, you are so stupid, what level of killers can you have in the What I Do period? Leping smiled lightly, then squeezed lightly. Suddenly, the gold card changed shape. The gold card was crushed into slag by Leping, turned into gold powder from the fingers, and the wine fell on the earth. My gold. Krillin's face hurts. This gold card is relatively heavy and can be exchanged for a lot of money. It just disappeared. Bulma's home. The summoning order of the number 1 killer in the world. Roger had heard Krillin's words, and couldn't help but startled slightly. Vados looked calm, pretending to be nothing. Interesting. Roger smiles. Immediately, the water ball above the scepter in Roger's hand did not flicker. A projection flew out of Roger's crystal ball. It's so hard to cross the cosmic projection, and it's a bit of a consumption of the real God domain. Roger sense. Vados. A total of only 1 point of true God domain was consumed. What is so hard? Ross stared. No matter how small a mosquito is, it's still meat. It's just that I saved so much that my true god realm became the #1 existence among the apprentice angels. Roger said, is this the #1 killer in the world? Yes, his name is Hit, and he is from our 6th universe. Vados smiled slightly. Can he travel across the universe to Earth? Roger asked in surprise. As a killer, this kind of thing is still very easy to do. It's a coincidence that Vados smiled. When did the #1 killer of the 6th universe get in touch with the 7th universe? Roger asked with a smile. I knew you would say that. Vados is not surprised. There is also a projection on the scepter. The character in the projection is an old man with a white beard and white hair, which Roger really knows. It was Wu-Tato, the teacher of Immortal Turtle. During the projection, Wu-Tato found Hit, who was injured and comatose in a forest, and took him home, where he prepared medicines to treat his wounds. After Shitter woke up, he handed Wu-Tato a gold card, and after a brief talk, he left Wu-Tato holding the card, and smiled indifferently. Wu-Tato was the most powerful human being in the world at that time. In Wu-Tato's view, the #1 killer in the world was nothing but bragging. Not long after that, the great demon King Piccolo was born. Wu-Tato couldn't defeat the great demon King Piccolo. At the moment when he used the magic seal wave, he explained to Immortal Turtle, saying that there was a gold card in one of his books. If he failed to seal the great demon king, let the turtle immortal must use the summoning order for the #1 killer in the world. Then, Wu-Tato activated the haze seal, but he successfully sealed King Piccolo in the rice cooker. As a result, the matter about the summoning order of the #1 killer in the world was selectively forgotten by the Immortal Turtle. Oh, this happened more than 300 years ago, right? Roger smiled slightly. At that time, why did Hitter come to the Earth of the 7th universe? Who was injured again? Vados smiled, and Hit's figure appeared on the scepter again. This time, a person who looked very similar to Frieza appeared on the projection, asking Hit to kill someone. His name was Ratkel, and he was the ancestor of Frost. Vados explained with a smile, the person Hitter wants to kill is also caused by you, Roger. Roger's eyes moved slightly. Yes, you thought it was Bardock. Vados smiled. The appearance of Bardock killed Frieza's ancestor Zild. In order to avenge, Zild's son contacted Ratkar, the ancestor of Frost in the 6th universe. Karl then contacted Hit, but it is a pity that Hit just went out to carry out the mission, and this matter has been delayed for nearly 700 years. You go on. Roger nodded. After Hit took over the mission, he went to kill Bardock, but Bardock's strength had surpassed him. Bardock seriously injured Hit and robbed his spaceship. While talking, Vados used the scepter to show the projection. After Hit was seriously injured, he wandered in the universe for 30 years, entered the black hole of the universe, and came to the Earth of the Milky Way by luck, fell from space, and met Wu-Tato. Was cured by Wu-Tato. I don't need to talk about the next thing, right? So, now that Hit is ready to dispatch 3.2, is he here to repay his kindness? Roger looked at Hit in a projection. Hit had already set foot on the spaceship at this time, ready to set off. Yes, Hit had 6 kinds of rubbish killer summon orders in his hands, namely, Kin Copper, Silver, Gold, Platinum, Diamond, and King. However, 700 years ago, Hit's highest level summoning order was Gold. As for the Platinum, Diamond, and Kings in the back, they were added in harmony to keep up with the times. Vados smiled. So, Hit sensed the ancient golden summoning order, and would put down all the tasks at hand and rush over as soon as possible. Ruosi smiled at Roger. Understood. Roger nodded. More interesting. It's just a Sharu, even the killer Hit of the 6th universe is dispatched. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 128 Ruosi, you are too fun. Roger knew that it was very likely that Vados had arranged all this in advance. However, Vados did everything flawlessly, and Roger couldn't find anything wrong with Hit. Roger never saw it from beginning to end. Of course, the appearance of Vados does not rule out the possibility of Vados transmitting his voice to Hit all the way. But the time interval was too long, and it was really not easy for Roger to find any clues. Since you want to play, I will play with you. Roger had a smile on his face. Roger has basically guessed why Vados chose to live in the sand until the last time when hit came. It is estimated that it was an accident that made Shalu absorb some of the courage. Then, Sharu will have hits Shem. Although in a hurry, Shalu is not skilled enough to master Shanxi, but Shalu will also hang Sun Wukong and Sun Wuhan and others. Even if Sun Gohan becomes the second-tier Super Saiyan, at that time, it may not be Sharu's opponent Vados. Is this your trump card? You disappointed me so much, I thought you would dispatch some powerful guy, but it turned out to be just a hit. Roger shook his head. Vados smiled and did not speak. Sister Vados 15, he seems very confident, are we sure? Rose is a little uneasy. Ruo-si, my silly sister, he pretended that. Vados smiled confidently, you bastard. Ruo-si snorted at Roger. Ruo-si, I suddenly remembered, what about my never-ending strawberries? Roger mused, when are you going to give it to me? What a strawberry? Ruo-si pretended not to understand. Ruo-si, since she promised other people's things, she must honor them. The scepter in Vados's hand flashed a planet. This is the latest Namek. If you can go to Namek to collect Dragon Balls to make Shenlong realize his wish and get this strawberry. Okay. Ruo-si gave Roger a dark look and nodded lightly. Ruo-si turned into a colorful flame, broke through the void, and disappeared in a flash. Roger. Vados covered his face, not knowing what to say for a while. Ruo-si. Vados took the scepter and spoke to Ruo-si. Sister Vados, what's the matter? Joshua replied. You turned away. Vas covered her face. This sister is so stupid. Ah. Ruo-si stopped quickly. Keep flying in the direction of the left hand. Vados rode. Left hand. The right hand holds the chopsticks, and the left hand holds the bowl, this way. Rose sped to the left and Roger. Silent for a moment. Does Ruo-si use this method to divide the left and right? Roger's eyes widened and asked, cough, cough. You are too embarrassed to say it. Vados stared, and said angrily, it's all your fault that the power of the angel was too powerful at that time, and Ruo-si, who was still a god fruit, was shocked. Blame me. Roger shook his head and suddenly shouted at Vados' scepter, Ruo-si, what is 385 times 496? Ruo-si, who was moving fast, was arrogant and sluggish at the time, counting this complicated multiplication with her fingers. Do you have enough fingers? If you don't have enough fingers, you can ask to leave your fingers. Roger can't help but laugh, you're so funny. Itachi Finger refuses to advocate. What should I do? Ruo-si looked up at Roger, and when she saw Roger's uncontrollable expression, she suddenly came back to her senses and glared at him with a look of resentment. I want to pay you back, Roger. Ruo-si shouted angrily, how much is 896 times 1998? 365,008. Said Roger immediately. Josie stopped talking. Likes and dislikes. Is your own multiplication formula not good enough? Why was Roger able to figure it out so quickly? I am an angel, so I have no sense of accomplishment. No, Roger, 896 times 1998 doesn't equal the number you said. How much does Vados say with a smile? Roger asked. 790,208. Vados wrote. Hefu, you got it right. Roger laughed. How did the 360,000 figure you mentioned come from? Vados asked me to say casually, I am an angel, why should I struggle with an arithmetic problem? Roger haha Vados. Ruo-si, what you said makes sense. Yes, we're angels, is it necessary to struggle with an arithmetic problem, whether it is wrong or right, does it matter? Sister Vados, I don't want to go to Namek anymore, I want to go back and bite him. Ruo-si was so angry that Tuya number 16 showed his powerful strength and beat Sharu to the point of scarring. Number 16 even pulled Sharu's tail abruptly, but Sharu can regenerate, but let number 16 grab Sharu, body and slammed it on the ground. At the same time, number 16 crossed his stomach, took off his forearm, and took out 8 black laser muzzles. Number 6 shouted. With a sound, the laser cannons on both arms blew. Rumbling. The huge amount of energy made Piccolo be dumbfounded by the violent vibrations in this area at that time. Leping was also dumbfounded. Helan and Tianjin Fan were even more frightened and trembling all over. 17th, 18th, hurry up and get out of here. What is the joke on the 16th shouting loudly? 16 is so powerful. On the 17th, the whole person is not very calm. I am the protagonist. Leping cried and was in danger. God gave me a chance to become stronger. It is absolutely impossible to just give up on me like this. Silly boy, I want you to be absorbed by Shalu instead of number 18. You are not the protagonist. Vados felt it. If you were there, your fate would be very bad. Roger confronted the 18th, said the 18th did not speak. 18 also saw the two shapes at the scene through the projection. Too terrifying. That Sharu is really scary. However, what made number 18 feel even more terrified was in the back. When Leping shouted that he was the protagonist, Shalu's body quietly drilled out of the hole behind him. Hee, number 18, you are right, you are the protagonist. After you are absorbed by me, you are the real protagonist. Sharu said, and his tail wrapped Leping all at once. Leping's legs and hands were constantly tied. However, it's useless. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 129 Hitter comes to Earth. Soon, Shalu used his tail to absorb Leping into his body. After seeing the projection, he was disgusted. Look at number 16 and others, it's too late to stop. Oops, it's too late. Hurry up, get out of here. Number 16 was shocked, grabbed number 17, turned around and ran, and at the same time Bic, Helan, and Tianjin Fan said, you three also leave quickly. Bar. Ah, Klein was incoherent. Underscore. The eyelid color of Tianjin rice is slightly pale. Sharu quickly completed the evolution and achieved the form of a semi-finished product. Sharu's speed is extremely fast. Almost in a flash, he appeared directly opposite number 16, blocking it. Damn, number 16 Pipia, Yishui hit Sharu in the nose. Look at Shalu again, it doesn't seem to be painful or itchy. 16 feet's face discoloration. Lu put his hand in front of number 16. Boom. The flame in Sharu's hand bloomed, and it bombarded number 16 feet's head at once, and a corner of number 16 feet's head was blown off. 16 fell to the ground with a puff of green smoke coming from his head. It's really vulnerable. Number 16, where did the prestige just now go? Sharu laughed so much, not to mention how happy he was. As he was talking, Piccolo studied heavily and hit Sharu on the back of the head. Sharu looked back at Piccolo. Piccolo, this is not your style. You know you can't beat me, but you still attack me. Sharu sneered, and the flame flashed in his hand, directly penetrating Piccolo's heart. Immediately after, Sharu threw Piccolo far away, leaving him to fend for himself. Then, Sharu looked at number 17 with a smile. 17 is frightened and scared, and his eyes are pale. The 17th, I advise you to give up your resistance, you are not my opponent at all. Sharu looked at number 17 with great interest, and the more he looked, the more happy he became. What Shalu didn't expect was that things would go so smoothly. Those two women, you wait for me, wait for my Sharu to become a complete body, it's your time of death, you wake me up, I should thank you. I torment and torture you well, it can be regarded as a reward for you. Lu is smiling. 17th, hurry up, I can't wait. Shalu smiled and said that at this moment, Tianjin Fan was suspended in the sky, and a large Qigong cannon was released from the ground. Lu's body sank, and was directly pressed into the ground by the powerful impact of the Qigong wave. There was also a big hole on the ground. HMPH, bug carving trick. Sharu let out a cold snort, and flew upwards to Tianjin Fan, releasing his Qigong cannon again, pressing the sand down. Let's go. Tianjin Fan shouted to number 17 and number 16. The two also reacted and flew into the sky. Evil. Sharu watched helplessly as number 17 was about to fly away. His eyes were burning with fire. Stop now. Hurry up and stop, exclaimed Kling, or you'll die. Tianjin Fan did not mean to stop, and still increased the output of the Qigong cannon. Just then, a figure appeared on the scene. The man was wearing a coat, his hands were in the coat pockets, and he had purplish red skin. Hitter looked around the scene. A bit. The one who called me. Why is there no response at all? The one who summoned me, seems to be the green guy. But not too similar. Let's ask first. Hit waved his hand lightly, and the void shook. At that time, Tianjin Fan was punched in the chest by Hit's void, and flew upside down, and the heavy proof was on the ground. Tianjin Rice. Krillin was shocked and flew over in a hurry. Sharu jumped up from the big pit, flew up, and immediately looked for the escape of number 17. However, where is the figure of number 17 at the scene? Damn, let him run away. Sha Pia glanced at Hit who appeared at the scene, with a question mark on his face. Who is this guy? It seems like he saved me just now. There is no information about him in the database. Forget it, never mind. It's because this kid from Tianjin Fan ruined my good deeds. Although he is dying, I still want to kill him with my own hands. Sharu pointed his hand in the direction of Tianjin Fan, and asked you one thing. Hit said to Sharu. She ignored Hit. Just when Shalu wanted to kill Tianjin Fan at the scene, an orange-red figure flashed and appeared beside Tianjin Fan. Sun Wukong. Sharu recognized Sun Wukong at a glance. Are you Sharu? I know that with my current strength, I can't beat you no matter what. Sun Wukong said, however, as long as you give me one day, I will definitely beat you to a pulp. Oh, give you a day and you can beat me. Shalu suddenly became interested. What can you do in one day? Pull me, don't move. Sun Wukong ignored Shalu, pulled Kailin and Tianjin Fan, performed teleportation, and disappeared in a flash. What? How does this guy Sun Wukong move? It disappeared in a flash. Sharu is far away. Sun Wukong has already appeared on Piccolo's side. Sun Wukong is carrying Piccolo on his shoulders, and Keelan is also carrying Tianjin Rice, and Xiao Wukong intends to return to God. Don't even think about running away. Shalu snorted coldly and swept in the direction of Sun Wukong. Just when Sha was about to attack Sun Wukong's room, Sun Wukong used teleportation and disappeared in a flash. Odd to Li Jiao, strange. When did Sun Wukong learn this trick? Sharu was puzzled. Forget it, I don't care about Sun Wukong. Now I want to find number 17 as soon as possible, absorb him, and then become a complete body. Number 17 and the injured number 16, Sharu, who can't run too far, chases in the direction of number 17 feet's escape. But Hit flickered and stood in front of Sharu. It's you. Are you going to ask me for an autograph? I'm not free now. Sharu glanced at Hit and said lightly. Did you activate the summon order? Hyder asked. What summoning order? Sharu looked confused. The summoning order for the number 1 killer in the world was not initiated by you. Hyder asked again. Go away, I don't have time to chat with you. Shalu was a little impatient, and murderous intent appeared in his eyes. Let me ask you again, where is Teacher Wu Tato? Hitter asked. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 130 Hit. You are courting death. Shaji is annoyed. Who knows Wu Tato? How does this guy know to ask weird questions? You are asking some questions that I know. Do you think you're embarrassed that you let me waste brain cells so much? Lu is no more, and he released a Qigong wave at Hyder. With a loud bang, Qigongbo devoured Hit to the idiot who didn't know if he was alive or dead. He didn't want to kill you, but you were courting death yourself. Sharu snorted coldly, and stopped paying attention to Hit. He flew in the direction of number 17 and chased after Sharu. He just released a Qigong wave by himself, and this birdman is probably dead. Just when Shalu passed the smoke of Qigong wave, he felt his tail tighten, as if he was caught. What? How could this be? Charu turned his head and saw Hitchit, who was safe and sound, kick the sand out of the air. Boom! Charu's body slammed on the ground, causing a large cloud of dust. Lu was stunned, fell to the ground, and looked up at Hit in the sky. He couldn't believe who this gang was. What is so powerful? Hit slowly fell from the sky. Now, can you tell me the answer? Hit said indifferently that I really don't know what the summoning order is. Chalupi bared his teeth, got up from the ground, and turned his eyes back. Did you absorb someone? Hit frowned and took a deep look at Charu's tail. Ah, do you mean number 18? She is a part of my body, once sealed by me, ran out to do evil while I was sleeping, it was reabsorbed and suppressed by me. Charu is full of mouth running a truck. As for whether this birdman believes it, Charu can't control so much. Hitter doesn't care what Charu said at all. He frowned and asked Mr. Wutato again. What happened to Wutato? Let me think about it. Charu held his chin and thought for a while. His eyes lit up. I remember, he is already dead, but before he died, he gave me something. What? Dead? Hit's expression changed slightly and he sighed. Yeah, it's been so long since Beijing. By the way, what did he give you? It's the sun. Lu grinned. Suddenly, the sun fist is displayed. Hitter was caught off guard and was unfortunately hit. At that time, his pupils turned white, and Hitter calmly stretched out his arms to protect his head. Charu's tail was like a long snake, and it was suddenly stuck on Hit's arm. Hit frowned. Hit suddenly kicked and hit Charu's chest. Charu flew backwards and rubbed his body against the ground, leaving a long mark on the ground. At the same time, Hit's eyes returned to normal. Hit glanced at his hands and kidneys, and his face became gloomy. On the arm, there is a pinhole-sized wound with blood oozing from it. I just asked you a question, but you want to kill me. Hit was in danger, and murderous intent emerged in his eyes. Chalu looked stunned. He never thought that this birdman would be so powerful that Hit's figure flickered and quickly appeared directly opposite Chalu. The speed was so fast that Chalu's sleeping hole shrank suddenly. Hit's fist directly penetrated Charu's heart, and passed through Charu's body from his back. Hit pulled his palm out. Boom! Sarah fell to the ground. Death is not a pity. Hit looked disdainful to see the sand sail who had been lying on the ground for a day, smiled coldly, then looked around, and said to himself, the heart has been pierced, and he is still alive. Vitality said stubbornly. Hit silently walked near Chalu's head and raised his right foot. Hit stepped down. Only a muffled sound was heard, and Charu's head blossomed at that time. Someone activated the king-level summoning order. Hit suddenly froze for a moment, and the group flew up. Forget about the 7th universe, let's leave it alone, and if the caller cannot be found, it is counted as a mission failure. Hit's figure flew into the sky and disappeared. It was not until Hit left for 10 minutes that Charu recovered his body through regeneration. Charu was so scared that his whole body was shaking and his face turned pale. Who is this guy? Why so powerful? Such a powerful guy, how come I have never heard of it? I'm going to absorb number 17 right away. I'm going to become a complete body. I'm going to kill this birdman. Charu was trembling with anger. Charu quickly chased in the direction of number 17. Flying Firuo, Charudi stopped. What is this? I feel like my energy has improved a lot. Chalu was surprised and happy, and Lu could clearly sense that his strength had improved again. I remembered that there was a little bit of that birdman's cell on my tail, and the cell entered my body and became a part of my body. Charu wants to understand. A minute later. Ha 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 ha, Charu is the most powerful. Charu speeds up his flight Bulma's tomb. Hit is back, Roger said with a smile. The quest convener has disappeared. The quest is counted as a failure. Can I still stay for dinner if I don't go back? Vados Wei, is he here to send cells? Roger smiled. It seems to be the case. Vados nodded, but didn't deny it, and added, however, this is a normal thing, it's not cheating. Follow you. Roger shook his head, indifferently. Lu chased for a while, but did not find the trace of number 17. Shalu bowed his head and turned to the right. At their speed on the 17th, they shouldn't be able to fly far, and they are probably hiding on a small island below. Sharu snorted coldly, and a qigong wave bombarded it. A small island below, there was a big explosion at that time. Thousands of people on the island also died on the spot. No, are you still out? I know you're hiding on an island somewhere, Sharu said loudly. Below, number 17 feet's body was trembling, and the color of his eyelids became more and more ugly. Sharu is very powerful, and I am afraid that no one can defeat him at present. Vic said in a deep voice that Tianjin Fan did not speak and remained silent. After Sun Wukong came back, he gave Piccolo and the others fairy beans and cured them. Shalu started to destroy it. He had already found the island where number 17 was hiding. Vic looked down. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 131 Shalu, I want to hang the whole universe. Begbie, why haven't you come out yet? It's been more than a day, is it so difficult to surpass Super Saiyan? Sun Wukong was in a hurry, and he took the lead, and now he can only count on Vegeta to quickly surpass the Super Saiyan and defeat Sharu. Goku, don't you think it's weird? Just now, Sharu's breath seemed to suddenly drop sharply once. Krillin interjected. Maybe it's to control the anger and forget it. No fuss. Sun Wukong shook his head. Why do I think someone shot Sharu tilde? Krillin shook his head. Besides us, who else will take action against Shalu? Sun Wukong doesn't believe it is Roger. Did he shoot Sharu? Piccolo seems to have thought of something, and his spirit is lifted. But after thinking about it, Vic thinks it is unlikely. Who would that be? Forget it, it's possible that, as Goku said, Sharu just lowered his breath temporarily and banged. Under the frenzied bombardment of Shalu, number 17 finally lost his temper, and despite number 16 feet's dissuasion, he flew up from the island. However, at this moment, Vegeta is still cultivating in the room of spirit and time. On the 17th, you finally appeared. Sharu has an endless smile on his face. Sharu, let me tell you, I'd rather blow myself up than let you absorb me. Number 17 smiled lightly, and the corner of his mouth evoked a shallow arc. 17th, without the slightest hesitation, he directly activated the bomb in his body. What? Sharu's pupils shrank, his face became extremely difficult, and number 16 on the right widened his eyes. 16 never imagined that number 17 would choose to self-destruct. Not good. Sharu was shocked. It was only for a moment. At the moment when number 17 chose to self-destruct, Shalu rushed up, and with a sweep of his big tail, he quickly absorbed number 17 into his body. Shazung had just absorbed number 17, when a muffled sound came from his body, causing Shalu to spit out a mouthful of blood. But then, Shalu's body began to change rapidly. Strong energy emerged from Lu's body, and the endless breath made the world change color. Although number 17 chose to self-destruct, the sad thing is that Shalu has already completed the absorption and evolved into a complete body. It worked. My sharp has finally become a full body. Shalu calmed down at this time, wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth. Poor number 17, you just choose to blow yourself up on the island below. I can't get what you want, but unfortunately you are an idiot, you have to come up with me. Muttering to himself, Sharu looked at the android number 16 on the island. 6 got Sharu's eyes, he couldn't help groaning in his heart, there is nothing to be proud of killing you. Sharu shook his head, didn't bother to kill number 16, and said in a low voice, now I have to go and have fun with that Birdman, he beat me so badly just now, this time I have to say anything to make him look good. Sharu let go of his reaction, where could he find Hit's breath? Strange guy, did he hide his breath too? Sharu frowned, or, blow up the earth and he will die. Still, it's a bit cheap for him, and I still hope it's more fun to see him die. Sharu couldn't find Hit, and went to sense the breath of Vados and Ruosi. The result can be imagined, how could Shalu sense the breath of the two angels? Hateful, why do you like to hide your breath? Shalu was a little unhappy. Luwa turned into a white on, and quickly disappeared. 10 minutes. National Television Headquarters. Stop, who are you? Get out of here now. Lu slapped the man who scolded him to death. The gunshot sounded, and the bullet hit Shalu. Sharu waved his big hand again, killing those who attacked him. People on TV are terrified. Great, turn the camera on me, I'm going live. Sharu smiled lightly and turned his face on the TV. Hello everyone on Earth. My name is Sharu. Not long ago, humans in several towns disappeared, and they were absorbed by me. Sharu said. He turned his body on purpose, and showed the audience in front of the TV the tail that evolved into a straw behind him. To absorb you. There was a smile on Shalu's face. I'm here this time for 2 things. The first thing, I ask my friends from all over the country to help me find 3 people, 2 women. The head, the ears should be so high. In the position, there is a blue halo suspended. One of the women has white hair, ponytails, and blue skin. Another woman has black hair, long hair, and yellow skin. There is another person. The skin is purple, the head is very strange, and it is easy to identify. It is because of these 3 people that I was born. Later, I will find a painter to draw the image features of these 3 people. Flowers 0. Everyone he didn't speak, just listened to Sharu's narration silently, but Lu was very proud. Aren't the 3 of you covered? Well, all the human beings all over the world are looking for you, and when I leave you nowhere to escape, you will come to me on your own initiative. Lu Zhen didn't take Vados and others in his eyes. I am a complete body. I can't wait to let you over here. Then, I can torture you well. The second thing, I plan to hold a competition called Shalu Game. This competition is similar to the previous #1 martial arts competition in the world. The difference is that I am the only opponent of all of you humans. Sharu said with a smile. The rules are very simple. You come up to challenge me 1 by 1. Of course, if you are killed by me, you will lose. If all the human beings are defeated by me, then I will kill the human beings all over the world, haha. Haha equals. Sharu laughed wildly, and a flame of light emerged in his hand. Boom. There was an extra hole in the wall of the floor where Sharu was located. The huge energy leveled a large area in front of it to the ground at that time. Are you guys going to play? Sharu smiled slightly. Then, I am waiting for your arrival. Shafei is gone. Soon, Shalu found a painter and painted the images of Vados, Ruosi and Hit. In order to express his gratitude to the painter, Shalu slapped him into the ground. He is permanently sealed underground, immortal and immortal. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 132 The Great Priest. Let me add a note. Bulma's home. You 2 are wanted criminals. Roger smiled. It doesn't matter, the big deal is to remove the angel halo and change the color of the skin. Vados covered his mouth and snickered, but he didn't care. Besides, I found out, it doesn't matter about the competition of Sharu games, it seems a bit interesting. Vados's mouth has a smile. Interesting, more and more interesting. Roger smiled slightly. As for how Frost's ancestors were connected to the 7th universe, and how Hit got to the 7th universe, Roger didn't say anything. If you want to play, I will play with you. At this moment, under the shadow of the scene, someone appeared beside Roger. After seeing the person coming, Vados got up quickly. It's not easy for Roger to sit either. 14. Grand Priest. Vados bows and salutes. Good Priest. Roger waved his hand and said, in my impression, Great Priest, this is your first time in the human world, right? Occasionally come to the human world, but you don't know it. The Great Priest put his hands behind his back, laughed, and then waved his big hand lightly, forming an enchantment. In the enchantment, only angels can see it. As for Bulma, number 18 and others, why can't you see Roger and the others? Bulma's eyes widened. She was surprised to find that Roger and the others were gone. Ada's also confused and shook his head. Not only did Roger and the others disappear, but even the projection on the scepter disappeared along with him. Seeing that man was absorbed instead of him, number 18 looked complicated. Very tragic guy. I don't know if Lepping offended Roger and the two angels. At the same time, the 18th is also somewhat fortunate. Fortunately, I was brought back by Roger, otherwise I would have been absorbed by that monster, thinking that my body would be absorbed by Sharu. Number 18 couldn't help but hit a do. Mysterious and mysterious. Bulma is on his hips, and his unhappy expression is mysterious. Number 18 nodded. Not to mention, the angel is very beautiful. Bulma pondered 48 rode with his chin up and made no comment. 18 also thinks the angel looks good. First of all, it is the angel named Ruosi, who needs to have a figure and a good appearance. As for the angel named Vados, he looks good, but the color of Ching's skin is a bit strange. Number 18 and Bulma don't think Vados is good looking. This skin is the same color as a Smurf. You say, do I want to ask Shenlong to have a feeling, to stay young forever or something? It is said that angels do not age. Bulma whispered. Shenlong. What is it? Number 18 glanced at Bulma and Bulma didn't want to pay attention to number 18. This woman, whose appearance is no less than his own, looks like an artificial person. This woman will not age, right? I am a very ordinary girl on Earth. Why should I be with this group of monsters? Bulma sighed. In the boundary. Lord High Priest, what do you expect? Vados respectfully asked today. I'm not a high priest, I am your father and Roger's fortune. The Grand Priest smiled. As I said earlier, I was a little nervous just now. Roger breathed a sigh of relief, leaned directly into the chair, and raised his legs. Grand Priest. Vados, are you still nervous? I heard that you were gambling. The Great Priest is smiling. Yes, my father. Vados nodded. Be specific. The Great Priest. So Vados told the Grand Priest all the content of the betting game, which was interesting. The Great Priest pondered, why don't I also add a bet? Roger glanced at the Great Priest and the Great Priest ran over to raise. Is this a plan to take back everything he won? Roger thinks it's really possible. Or, you, a supreme god, came to the human world to gamble with me. Are you making trouble? What is the Grand Priest going to do? Roger asked. Vados and I are in the same camp. If we lose, I will give you 200 true god domain to Roger. The Great Priest smiled slightly and said to Roger, if you win, Suji, you are going to do something for me, and Roger was slightly startled. Help the Great Priest do something. Does the Grand Priest still need to help him do things by himself? Conspiracy. There must be a conspiracy. First tell me what's the matter. Make it clear, otherwise I wouldn't easily agree. Roger shook his head and refused decisively. Raise if you want. Don't think you're a great priest, I'll give you face. This has not happened yet. The Great Priest shook his head. What did not happen? How do you ask me to promise you? Roger smiled at Roger. What would you do if our universe encountered a catastrophe? The Great Shrine did not answer but asked sternly. With Lord Quanwong, what other disaster could there be? Grand Priest, you think too much. Roger laughed, and Lord Quanwong can't solve it. The Great Shrine replied, isn't there a Great Priest? Roger smiled. Heck, hey, you put me on top of Lord Quanwong. Roger, do you think it's appropriate? The Great Priest said, well, what if even Lord Quanwong and I can't solve this crisis? A crisis that neither of you can solve. What can I do? Roger said angrily that you really know how to play. You are playing to new heights. Grand Priest. I'm so tired talking to you. You can always talk to death. The Grand Priest didn't know how to take it. What my father means is, what if only you, Roger, can save this cosmic crisis? Vados asked you to say so, and I understood. Roger suddenly realized Vados. 4.4 Do you just understand it? Is there life danger? Asked Roger. Yes, 50%. The Great Priest's expression was stagnant and he couldn't nod his head. Roger's answer was a simple one. Life is in danger, what are you going to do? Am I an idiot? If you don't go, the gods and human beings under the angelic throne will be extinct, and 50% of your life will be in danger in exchange for the safety of the entire universe. Roger, think about it again. The Great Shrine said it was you, how would you choose? Roger asked back. Of course I will not hesitate to save our universe. Vados smiled slightly. I am the Great God Palace, this is my duty, even if I really fell, but I can save the God realm and the universe back, I will do it. The Great Priest nodded. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 133 Grand Priest, Cosmic Crisis. Roger. No. Roger rolled his eyes. Did your father and daughter negotiate? Roger wouldn't go anyway. If that kind of thing happened, it would be a big deal to find a way to rescue Bulma. As for the others, do whatever they want. Roger took a deep look at the Great Priest. What is the cosmic crisis in the mouth of the Great Priest? Does such a thing really exist? Ha ha ha, in fact, I just said casually, we are the supreme gods of this universe, and there is no cosmic crisis. The Great Priest laughed. That, Father, what about the rays? Asked Vados. I won't participate, you can play. The Grand Priest smiled and Roger gave the Grand Priest a thoughtful look again. I came here and said that I wanted to play with us, and I had to bet 200 points in the realm of true gods. Why don't you play now? Could it be that there really is a cosmic crisis that the Great Priest said? A cosmic crisis that even the Great Priests can't handle. It seems that, listening to the meaning of the Great Priest, only you can save this crisis. Moreover, there is still a half chance of dying. Roger felt that this kind of thing did not seem to be groundless. It seems that you should pay more attention. Also, Roger suddenly remembered one thing, that is, the birth of the new universe Dragon Ball world as two universes that coexist and accompany each other. For example, the 6th universe and the 7th universe belong to the companion universe. These two universes are compared in many aspects. Resemblance. The 7th universe has the Earth, and so does the 6th universe, but the Earth in the 6th universe has a civilization a long time ago. For example, the 7th universe has Saiyans, the 6th universe also has them, and there are even legends that are similar to Broly. Super Saiyan. In addition to the 6th and 7th universes, the 1st and 12th universes, the 2nd and 11th universes, the 3rd and 10th universes, the 4th and 9th universes, and the 5th and 11th universes, the 8 universes are also associated universes. And the new universe born this time has only one cosmic well and no associated universe appears. Roger has heard that the new universes developed before will all have accompanying universes, but the new universe was also hundreds of thousands of years ago, because the angel tree has only been established in the last 100,000 years or so. Shangwei gave birth to 5 apprentice angels including Roger. Why is there no accompanying universe for Mao now? Roger asked Weiss, and Weiss said that with the progress of the times, there is no need for the accompanying universe. I believe you, okay. Roger knew that he couldn't ask anything, so he didn't ask any more. Is the new universe for patrolling students? Roger was thinking too much for a while. At this moment, a colorful flame came quickly in the distance. The colorful flames rushed directly into the barrier set up by the Great Priest, and it was Ruosi who came back. What about strawberries? Roger saw that Ruth's hands were empty. Father now how? Ruosi hurriedly bowed and glared at Roger. Didn't you see the Grand Priest here? What do you want strawberries? Rose is back. The Great Priest looked at Ruosi with love on his face, and then said seriously, Ruosi, since you promised Roger, then fulfill your promise, give him the strawberries that can never be eaten. The dragon of the Nemesis said that they had just made a wish and it was not long before they made another wish, and they had to wait about 30 days. Ruosi smiled wryly and had already contacted the Great Elder over there before she knew that she would go there. It's a waste of time, so let's owe it first. The Great Priest smiled. Roger, I'll apologize to you first. Yes, I waited for this strawberry until the flowers were all gone. Roger nodded. Do you usually eat less grass and lotus? Rosa gnashing of teeth. By the way, Russ, let me ask you a question. Roger changed the subject and didn't want to answer. Ruosi is still angry about the strawberry, so she has to go and handle Roger. Ruosi, if our universe is in crisis, only you can save our 10 universes in the realm of the gods, but you may have a 50% chance of falling. Will you do it? Roger asked Roger if you think too much. If there is a cosmic crisis, Lord Quanwang will solve it. It's not my turn. Ruosi squinted her eyes. What about cosmic crisis? Who are you deceiving? HMPH, this angel won't be right now. Think again. Roger rode. Don't think about it. It's just that Lord Quanwang can't solve it. Isn't there still my father? Ruosi hummed the great priest. The two of you, both of you took the high priest on top of Lord Quanwang. Was it negotiated? The great priest is also not very calm. I don't want to usurp power. You two questions. I'm just assuming, for example, that you're really imaginative, Ruosi. Roger held back his laughter. If there is a cosmic crisis, if it were me, I would have a half chance of falling, so I wouldn't be so stupid. Ruosi snorted. The danger of the great priest is even worse. Cough cough. Vados coughed at Ruosi. Sister Vados, am I wrong? Ruosi was unmoved and said bluntly, I don't think I'm wrong. If there is a crisis in the universe, isn't there Sister Vados and Brother Weiss? Isn't there Brother Colin? You will protect 393 me, right? Ruosi is plausible. Vados is speechless. Yes, as Ruosi's sister and brother, they will indeed protect this little sister. That's right, but Ruosi, please have some snacks. You don't know this question, did Father ask Roger. You guys continue. The great god was in danger, his figure flickered, and he disappeared suddenly. Father, why did he leave now? Ruosi was stunned, and quickly shouted loudly that the great priest was tired, and hurried away. If he stayed any longer, the great priest felt so angry that his mood would be affected. The grand priest took a deep breath. Galactic Patrol Headquarters. Myers' room. The figure of the great priest gradually emerged, the great priest. Myers hurriedly bowed and saluted. Today, I am not the Grand Shrine, I am your father. The great god waved his hand, indicating that there is no need for so many mortal rituals, but Mel's licked his lips. Myers remembers very clearly that his father said this 3 years ago, and then hung himself up and beat himself this time, it wouldn't be. Myers couldn't help but take 2 steps back. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 134 Grand Priest. Myers, I don't want to hit you for my father. What are you doing, Myers? Do you seem afraid of being a father? The high priest asked me how I respect my father. Myers smiled wryly. With your words, I have a lot of peace of mind for my father. The great priest nodded in satisfaction, waved his big hand gently, and a projection screen appeared. Roger just asked Ross about the cosmic crisis. Myers was a little confused about what his father was going to do. Why make yourself watch this? Why? You can give me some hints. Myers is so confused. Projection ends soon. Myers, what do you think? The high priest looked at Ruamels and asked, and Myers moved his lips. How should I answer? Think about it. The great god. Myers is sweaty. Don't be nervous, say what you think, even if you say it wrong, it doesn't matter. The grand priest also saw that Myers was very nervous. Wrong. Myers is not very calm. Is there anything wrong with this? Myers thought about it seriously. What does this cosmic crisis mean? Is there really a cosmic crisis? Haha, it doesn't exist. Is there a cosmic crisis? How can it be? What Josie said. That's right. If there is a cosmic crisis, King Jaeon and Father will solve it. If even the two of them can't solve it, it will really become Ragnarok. At that time, will Ruosi be able to solve it? This is impossible. Myers thought a lot for a while. Father has always loved Sister Ruosi the most. He asked this question to make himself agree with Sister Ruosi's point of view. Father, I think Ruosi is right. Myers thought about it for a while, and said seriously, have you thought about it? Pig is wrong. Myers was not stupid, turned into a colorful flame, turned around and ran. It's just, how could Myers outrun the Grand Priest? The Great Priest just grabbed the big hand gently, the void was twisted and deformed, and Myers was captured like this. Myers, what are you running for? The High Priest's face darkened even more. I suddenly remembered that I forgot to serve tea to my father. Myers scratched his head and laughed. Myers, my father didn't want to hit you, but if you ran, it was your fault. Dajingu said it was said that Mel's screamed so badly that day. The entire Galactic Patrol headquarters heard it. Not to mention how tragic Myers was. Is this a typical lay gun? It was me who got beaten for Mao. The problem is, Myers doesn't know why he got beaten last time because he lost the scepter. What about this time? What did I say? Urdu is so powerful, his father really doesn't give him face and touches him so loudly. The Galaxy King sighed helplessly. Is his father strong? Asked Jack. What do you mean, Gak? Do you mean to say that if you were stronger than your father, you would fight back and stare at the Galaxy King? Of course I won't fight back, but can't I run? Knowing that he was going to be beaten, but still staying to be beaten, Myers is really stupid. Jack shook his head too. You were right. The King of the Galaxy nods. What does Myers' father look like? Never seen. Jake pondered uncleanly. The Galaxy King shook his head. After more than 6 hours of the day, Vegeta came out of the room of spirit and time, and has Vegeta surpassed Super Saiyan? Sun Wukong asked expectantly and excitedly. Of course. Vegeta smiled lightly and asked about Sharu. Immediately, Krillin and the others told Vegeta what happened on Sharu's side. Sharu gains. Humph, Sharu will regret it too much. Bei Yanta chuckled lightly. Vegeta, are you sure you can defeat Sharu? Vic asked, and you'll know when the time comes. Vegeta's mouth curled into an arc. So, Vegeta, are you going to defeat Sharu now? Vic asks. Now. There's no need for that. Vegeta smiled confidently. Isn't he going to hold some Sharu game tournament? It would be more interesting to deal with him at the tournament, don't you think? Chike stopped talking. Keelan and Tianjin Fan also laughed dryly. Bei Gun, what are you going to do now? Krillin asked. Halfway through Krillin's words, Vegeta's tail was kicked away. Then, Vegeta stepped on Klein's head, with his tail rippling back and forth behind him. Yo-yo, what did I say then? How dare you call me Bei Gun? Vegeta tumbled on the ground with Krillin's head on his ankle. Krillin said nothing. Is my head straight like a yo-yo? Sun Wukong and others are also not good to dissuade. Who let you call them Bei Gun? Isn't this looking for a beating? And what did I see? Is that Vegeta's tail? Tianjin Fan was silent for a moment, and suddenly asked, what happened to his tail growing out? Vic was also slightly taken aback that Wukong's tail has never grown since it disappeared. Tianjin Fan said that Sun Wukong's tail was sealed by the gods, and now even me, there is no way to restore him. Vic shook his head, but that's okay. If Sun Wukong has a tail, one day he will become a giant ape. It's not enough trouble, ha ha ha, it's you. Tianjin Fan nodded and asked, but last time I heard that Vegeta turned into a giant beast and didn't lose her mind. At that time, I also died. Piccolo stares. Gohan, let's go in and practice. Sun Wukong didn't care about the outside world anymore. He brought Sun Wufan into the spirit and time, and began to practice. Vegeta rolls around for a while. Krillin feels better than insane King Qian's. Especially Krillin's head. It's very exciting to roll. Next time I should suggest to Roger that he should not get rid of me. It's fun to get rid of Clint. Vegeta soared into the sky, and the tail behind him also wrapped around his waist. Vegeta turned into a Super Saiyan, and swept towards Pasharu's direction. Well, Sharu is building the ring. Damn, why did those 3 guys disappear? Why didn't you come to see me? Must be frightened by me. Humph, it's no wonder. After all, Sharu has a complete body. They should have caught my strong breath and were too scared to come out. Lu was muttering when he saw a golden beam coming quickly from a distance. Someone came. Is it Vegeta? Sha looked at the past from a distance and pondered. This guy's breath has indeed improved, and it's getting more and more interesting. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 135 Vegeta. Sharu, do you know the whole universe? Vegeta fell from the sky and landed directly opposite Sharu. Vegeta, you came all the way here, are you going to challenge me? Sharu asked with a smile. You are wrong, I am here to participate in the competition in 9 days. Vegeta smiled. Welcome. I will be very happy if you can come to the tournament. I hope you won't disappoint me, Sharu with a smile. Is your current appearance the complete body? Vegeta looked at Sharu and asked yes. Sharu nodded. Claiming to be the first in the entire universe. Vegeta smiled. Yes, first in the universe. Sharu gave Vegeta a strange look and nodded, saying that I have a complete body. I am not the first in the universe, who is the first? Vegeta, you are so interesting. I don't know how to answer your question. Do you know how big the whole universe is? Vegeta was a little concerned about Sharu's frog in the bottom of the well. How big is the entire universe? How? Aren't you Saiyans fighting outside all year round? How big the universe is, I think we both know it well. Sharu smiled. No, you are wrong, I was very clear before, but now I am a little unclear. Vegeta's words are profound. Sarah is a little confused. Was it clear before? 760 is a little unclear now. Several meanings. What about tongue twisters? Sandmorant, if one day, you know how big the whole universe is, you will pay the price for your arrogance. Vegeta chuckled. Say you don't know. You really don't know. What do you mean? Sharu asked with dark eyes. I just want to tell you that the entire universe is much bigger than you think. Your strength is nothing in the entire universe. Vegeta smiled. Vegeta has already seen a guy of this level, not to mention anyone else, that is, the rabbit named Tispo, who is stronger than him, not to mention that apart from Tispo, there are Toppo and Broly and Bardock, and a stronger presence than Toppo. It seems to be called Jiren. I want to surpass them. My Vegeta wants to surpass them one by one. In the end, I surpassed Roger and rolled Roger underfoot. I, Vegeta, will one day stand at the peak of this universe. Little Sharu, let you chew first. Blue, in 10 days. No, we'll see you in 9 days. Vegeta smiled lightly, turned into a golden light, and rushed into the sky. As Vegeta left, a disdainful smile appeared on Sha's face. Whole universe. The whole universe is not my Sharu's day. Sharu can destroy the solar system with one energy bomb. Who in the universe has such energy as me? Vados. This guy is so arrogant, is it a big deal to destroy the solar system with an energy bomb? Rose smiled. Vados smiled and did not speak. Last time I accidentally wiped out the Milky Way. Ruosi said proudly, if I could shatter this universe. Vados is tired. Sister, is this kind of thing used for blowing? We are angels, we are not sabotage. Vegeta, will it be Sharu's opponent? Vados hastily changed the subject, Vegeta is too confident. Roger sighed. Yes, now it seems that Vegeta is indeed compared with Sharu, there is still a big gap. Vados nodded. This time Shalu will definitely sweep those 9 people. Ruosi replied, we have won. Roger, you should admit defeat as soon as possible. Roger is too lazy to talk to Ruosi. If you have time, wouldn't it be delicious to eat something delicious? Just as he was talking, Roger saw someone flying over. It's android number 16. Did this guy come after us? When Ruosi saw the man in the sky, she couldn't help but muttered something. You think too much. Roger gave Ruosi a look. Didn't come to find us. What is that for? Rose was puzzled that Vados didn't speak. Inch. At this time, number 16 fell from the sky and landed near Roger and others. Number 16 fought Sharu. A small piece of the skull was knocked off, revealing the mechanical skull structure, which was still smoky. Hello, is Bulma Xiaomo there? The vitality of number 16 has been lost a lot, so he stepped forward and asked weakly. Bulma and number 18 didn't come to join in the fun. Bulma has work to do, so there's no need to come to accompany Roger and the others. Pig Race 18 didn't come. Following the three gods made her uncomfortable, so she accompanies Bulma to fight. In fact, it is to fight, to put it bluntly, that is, drinking coffee, handing tools and so on, it is very leisurely. Where Bulma works, there is a large area of floor-to-ceiling glass, which just happens to be able to see outside. What are you looking for, Bulma? Ross asked. I want Bulma to treat me well, please. 16 said. 18 saw number 16 in the room, he was surprised and delighted, and hurried out. 6. Great. You are still alive. Number 18 was excited to see number 16, but he glanced at number 18 in a dazed way, and his mind was a little bit inflexible. Number 18. Didn't you get absorbed by Shalu? Something went wrong. Why is the 18th nicknamed at Bulma's house? I clearly saw that she was absorbed by Sharu. Excuse me, where is Miss Bulma? Excuse me for thinking that you really have a major failure. 16th, wait a minute, I'll go and call Bulma. Number 18 hurriedly said that there is no need to call number 18, Bulma has already come out of Bulma, can you fix it? Number 18 asked anxiously, I don't know your body structure without a blueprint. Bulma looked at number 16, Wei's blueprint. I remember that there should be a blueprint in the Research Institute, so I'll go get it now. Number 18 said, already flying up. Bulma point. 18th flew away quickly, heading towards the Research Institute. Roger, didn't you like her? Aren't you going to help? Ruosi asked with a smile that I'm still interested in you, do you want me to give you the new universe? Roger asked back, what logic is this? I'm going to help number 18 find design drawings. In fact, Roger can directly project the design drawing, make a copy, or take something from the air, but Roger thinks it is unnecessary. There are some things that the 18th has to do in person. What's the point of keeping the 18th round at home? Well, except for those with special ideas. His face turned red, and he hummed. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 136 Vados, Our Angels Are Neutral. 8 flew very fast and passed directly over Saru. There is no detection radar in by number 18 feet's body, but he didn't find Sharu's existence. Sharu didn't find number 18, because number 18 had no aura on his body. Following the blueprints, he passed over Saru again. This time, number 18 feet's eyes swept down inadvertently, and happened to see Sharu's figure. Is that Sharu? Number 18 was taken aback, why is he here? Immediately afterwards, the danger of number 18 was not very calm. Sweet cake, how did I pass over him? Number 18 trembled in his heart. Why does Casey look like number 18 in a hurry? Shalu looked at him and saw number 1 to 8, who were moving fast, and he was a little enlightened. Didn't I absorb the 18th? How is this going? No, go to confirm and confirm. Sharu moved slightly and quickly chased in the direction of number 18. 18th was frightened, and hurriedly increased the speed to the extreme. Just go back to Bulma's house and you'll be safe. With those 3 angels around, what is Sharu? Sharu's speed was too fast, and it took a few breaths to close the distance with number 18. 8 Flower looks pale. If Sharu was caught, wouldn't he be absorbed by him? Such a disgusting monster was absorbed by him, and the doctor number 18, who would be disgusted to death, saw the stone forest below. With an inspiration, he quickly fell, and quickly shuttled through the stone forest. 8 heard that he and number 17 did not have a wave of loyalty. I hope that Sha underscore will not find him. Shalu also watched number 18 on the ground, and immediately frowned. Is it really the 18th? A bit like. It's just that the 18th was not absorbed by himself. So, where did this number 18 come from? Shalu was a little stunned, looking at the messy stone forest, his face became gloomy, and killing intent appeared in his eyes. Hey, That woman, I have already caught you. It's better to come out to me, otherwise I can easily take this. The area was razed to the ground. Sand_black dangerous field road. 18 shivered a few times, and ran towards the front again, not far away, and there was Exedu in front of him. Passing through this stone forest, you can see the western capital. As long as you return to Exedu and Bulma's home, you will be safe on the 8th. Bang! Start to spoil. The huge impact force directly turned this stone forest into a flat ground. At the same time, a powerful force of impact also came in the direction of number 18. Number 18 exclaimed, and his back was blown forward by the shock wave painting. However, number 18 quickly adjusted his body. After rolling a few times in the air, he ran forward again. No one. I must have been bombed into scum by me, right? Shalu glanced at the stone forest in a flat river, and smiled softly. I must have thought too much. How could it be number 18? Number 18 was clearly absorbed by me. She is in my body. Forget it, forget it. Anyway, people are dead. Who do you love? It's a bit heavy to start. I should have lowered the energy just a little bit. It's a pity that it was bombed into scum like this. I also have too much energy to control. Shalu started to fantasize. After a few murmurs, he flew up from the sky and returned to Bulma's house on the 8th. Adjusted, he had lingering fears. Is his chest ups and downs exciting? Asked Roger with a smile. You know that? Asked Roger on the 18th. I see, it's not bad. You are quite clever at critical moments. Roger complimented you. You saw it. Don't you go and save me. Number 18 feet's face sank. You think too much. I have no obligation to save you. Roger smiled. 18 feet's face darkened and he stopped talking. Our angels are neutral, even if for you, Shah Sales is an evil person, but for our angels, in fact, he is not evil. Vados said to number 18 with a smile. Is he not evil? Number 18 moved his lips and didn't understand. The universe is born and it perishes, as big as the universe, as small as the planet, and the same is true. Vados's tone is flat. If there is no disaster, human beings may continue to multiply endlessly. After a few years, the resources of the planet will be exhausted. In a sense, the birth of Sharu, the elimination of some human beings, is good. Things seek freshness on the 18th. Bulma, who just came out, was stunned for a while after hearing the theory of Vados. Is this God? Is that enough of an angel? Suji, are you like this too? Bulma couldn't help looking at Roger. Vados, you are wrong, said Roger. Oh, wish to hear it. Vados smiled. For you, you can be neutral, but for me, the Earth must exist, and if Sharu dares to destroy the Earth, I don't mind skinning him and cramping. Roger smiled and heard Roger's words. Bulma breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Roger is not such a person. With Dr. Grohl's blueprints for the androids, Bulma started repairing androids 16 and 18 while helping out. Another day passed. Sun Wukong and Sun Wuhan came out of the cabin of Spirit and Time. Am I reading it right? Is that Gohan? Vic's eyes stared straight at his father, Sun Gohan, and Xiao Gohan turned into a Super Saiyan. Piccolo was deeply impressed. Sun Wukong also looks like a Super Saiyan at this time. Sharu's breath is still there. Didn't Vegeta challenge Sharu? Sun Wukong was a little puzzled and asked if he had just met Shalu and then flew away. Vic replied that I should also meet Shalu. Sun Wukong nodded, changed into a clean set of clothes, and then put his index finger on his forehead. Goku disappeared. In just a moment, Sun Wukong appeared on the broadcasting station where Shalu was located. Shalu turned his back to Sun Wukong, and immediately sensed the existence of Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong. Sharu smiled slightly. This is the stage of Sharu game tournament that decides the fate of the Earth. What do you think? If this is the arena that decides the fate of Earth, it is too small, said Sun Wukong. Sharu, promise me, I will definitely come to fight. Before that, don't kill unruly people. Sun Wukong said. Knife. You are a genius. remember in a second. Chapter 137. You want to fight, I will fight. Monkey King, answer me a question, I may consider agreeing to you. Sha said lightly, go ahead. Sun Wukong replied. The three of them, where are they? Sharu took out 3 portraits, and the portraits were of Vados, Ruosi and Hit. Who are they? Where did Sun Wukong know these 3 people? After thinking about it, I remembered. Didn't that purple-skinned person appear at the scene when you absorbed number 17? As for these 2 women, why haven't I seen them? Even you know them. Shalu's face stiffened, and he silently looked at Sun Wukong. Shalu could see that Sun Wukong didn't seem to be lying. Sun Wukong doesn't even know him. That's weird, who could it be? Well, we're all set. As Sun Wukong said, his figure has already become sturdy. You haven't told me, 397, who they are. Who has a word with you? Sharu drank angrily, but Sun Wukong couldn't hear it anymore. In the next few days, Sun Wukong took his family to have a picnic and play outside, saying that it was to relax his mind and let himself have a good rest. You can't make yourself stronger if you practice with flavor. On the contrary, it will make your body overwhelmed. On the way back, Sun Wukong turned on the radio broadcast on the car. The king was recruiting troops, and he was in the area where Sharu was in front, planning to kill Sharu. Stop now, you go to die in vain. Sun Wukong shouted loudly. 10 minutes later. All killed. Sharu is unscathed. Too terrifying. The announcer said solemnly, this beast. Sun Wukong clenched his head tightly. Sun Wukong got out of the car, teleported directly to the side of the king, and asked the king to help find the new Namek. After the king said the position of the new Namek, Sun Wukong moved over and quickly brought back a new god. Sun Wukong took Dandy and appeared on Zhuang first. Lord Zhuang, this is the new god on earth. Sun Wukong said to Zhuang that Zhuang was stunned. Sun Wukong took the gods again and teleported to Bulma's side. Bulma, you see, this is the new god on earth. After Sun Wukong said, he saw number 16 under maintenance and number 18 beside him. Huh, is this the 16th? Sun Wukong said in surprise. Yes, he asked me to fix it, maybe the Sharu game will come in handy. Bulma smiled slightly and glanced at Dandy. I know you, your name is Preserved Dan, right? My name is Dandy. Dandy stared and wiped his sweat. I forgot, hee hee. Bulma smiled. Dandy sweats. You are a preserved egg. Dandy was talking, and with a police eye, he saw Roger and others outside. Is that a fine chair? Dandy shivered. What's wrong? Dandy, it's okay, don't be afraid, he's a robot. Sun Wukong smiled and thought Dandy was afraid of number 16. That perfect chair is a robot. Bulma, let's go first. Sun Wukong waved his hand. Sun Wukong took Dandy and disappeared in a flash. Sun Wukong didn't know number 18, so he didn't look at her from beginning to end. Little Wukong didn't see Roger. He was Sun Wukong with his back to the transparent floor-to-ceiling glass behind him and brought Dandy to the temple. Dandy resurrects Dragon Ball. Wukong took advantage of this time to collect the Dragon Balls. After the Sharu game, he used it for 10 days, which will soon pass. The Shalu game has officially kicked off. In fact, regarding this betting game, Vados, who still has a great advantage over Roger, chose that only Sharu was alive, and the other 9 would die. That is to say, as long as Sharu was eliminated, the rest would survive. This game will be Roger's victory. The day has finally come. Ruosi burst into tears. Sister Vados, next time we have a pig race, can we not have such a long interval? Vados stared. Who is next time with you? This time it's all right, or should I go to the scene and move to the right? Vados proposes. Don't worry, it's not the best time yet. Roger smiled. Well, when it's exciting, we'll go to the scene to see it. Vados smiled, but for us, what is wonderful? With this level of fighting, even if I'm not a battle angel, I still can't go to the hospital. Satan appeared in a small car. Under the broadcast of the host, he stepped on the stage, shattered more than a dozen tiles with a slap, and pointed at Sharu and ranted. Blue is too lazy to ride. The next moment, Vegeta, Sun Wukong and others came one after another. Even the repaired number 16 also flew over. The time is up, which of you will come first? Sharu smiled slightly, is it Vegeta or Sun Wukong? Vegeta. Sun Wukong turned right to Bei Jipei, should I go first? Whatever, anyway, the one who decides the final victory is me. Vegeta smiled. Sun Wukong set foot on the drawing platform. Satan is not happy. You have to have a first come first serve, okay. Sun Wukong had to let Satan go first. Then, Satan was slapped away by Sharu. Sun Wukong, I have been looking forward to this day for a long time. Sharu smiled and looked at Sun Wukong, who set foot on the broadcasting station. If you want to fight, I will fight. Sun Wukong said, his breath burst out. Powerful breath. At that time, Satan and other 3 ordinary people were blown away. Sharu was not too much to let it go, and a more powerful breath broke out. The two started to fight on the stage. Minutes later. Okay, that's it for the warm-up. Sharu smiled slightly and the two of them burst out with a powerful breath again. Endless energy, centered on the two of them, spreads around Ruo. Both of them are starting to get serious. The battle lasted for about 2.510 minutes, and Sun Wukong was out of breath. Looking at Shalu again, it seems that there is still a lot of room for it. Little Wukong, his physical strength has dropped so much, he can eat a fairy bean or something. Sharu looked at Sun Wukong with a smile. Sun Wukong was breathing heavily. Shalu is right, give Wukong a fairy bean. Then we swarmed up, and we can definitely defeat the current Sharu. Krillin already put his hand into the fairy bean bag, and Bei Yanta slapped Klein over with a slap. Yo-Yo, do you still have the spirit of martial arts? Eat fairy beans. Thank you for being able to figure it out. Vegeta puts her foot on Krillin's head and rolls on the ground. When I participated in the martial arts conference, Bei Gun, were you still on an alien expedition? Who has no martial arts spirit? I'm just proposing. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 138 Gohan, don't you want to be a scholar? Why is Vegeta so reluctant to roll Krillin? Tianjin Fan gave a bitter smile. I think Vegeta was deliberately looking for trouble. Piccolo shook his head, Son Gohan. How about it? Monkey King, maybe you can really consider my proposal. Sharu laughs loudly, and Sun Wukong's golden glow collapsed all over his body, returning to his normal Super Saiyan form. Sharu was stunned. Piccolo and the others are also sluggish one by one. What is Sun Wukong trying to figure out? I'm convinced, I've seen your power, so I admit defeat, Sharu. Sun Wukong smiled slightly, what did you say? Shalu looked at Sun Wukong in disbelief, and he couldn't understand. Admit defeat. How can it be? Vic is sweating on his face. Vegeta silently looked at Monkey King. What does Goku mean? How did you admit defeat? Keelan got up from the ground, scratched his head, and looked puzzled. Sun Wukong, do you know what you mean by doing this? Shalu sneered, if no one can challenge me, then I will kill all the Earthlings. Just because I admit defeat doesn't mean no one challenges you. Sun Wukong smiled 5-0. Is there any difference? Shalu chuckled, although Vegeta is also very powerful in saving, but compared with you, there should be a distance, right? Who do you think can come out and challenge me? Mr. Satan, it's your turn again. The host cheered on Satan. Satan was so frightened that his eyes turned pale. He hurriedly covered his stomach, and lied that it was a severe stomachache. The uncle came to support the person with a black face. Why do you still have an uncle? Gohan, it's your turn. Sun Wukong looked at Sun Wuhan and everyone was a little stunned. He was going to challenge Sharu. Even Sun Gohan himself was a little surprised. Gohan, Dad believes in you, you can do it. Sun Wukong flew to Gohan's side, patted his shoulder. Sun Wufan looked up at Ruo's father, nodded solemnly, go to Gohan, defeat Sharu, don't you want to be a scholar? Sun Wukong said with a smile, all right Dad, I'll try it out. Sun Wukong took off his cape and flew to the opposite of Sharu, and Sun Wukong's body erupted with a powerful breath. Gohan's breath. Real or fake? Vic was surprised and delighted. When did Gohan become so powerful? Tianjin fan is also very excited. Grown-up Krillin scratches his head. This kid is very talented. When he was on Namek, he had the potential to become a Super Saiyan. Vegeta smiled. Krillin, give me a fairy bean. Sun Wukong greeted. Yes. Krillin didn't think much about it, took out a fairy bean and handed it to Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong threw the fairy bean to Shalu. After Shalu ate the fairy beans, his stamina returned to the top B state. Sun Wukong, I hope you won't regret it. Shalu smiled lightly. Sun Wuhan and Shalu started a fierce battle. It's just that although Sun Gohan's strength has improved a lot, he still has a big gap with Sharu after all. Stop fighting, Sharu. Sun Gohan walked out of the ruins step by step, looking at Sharu and said. Whoosh. What do you want to say? Sharu smiled. Dad is right, the only person who can beat Sharu is me. Sun Wukong lowered his head and said, from when I was very young, as long as I was angry, I would burst into a very powerful force. Yeah, then I'll take a good look at how you can defeat me with this powerful force of anger. Sharu has a look of contempt. Yishui hit Sun Wukong in the face and Sun Wukong was knocked to the ground, and Lu stepped on Sun Wukong's head with his foot. Come on, make me angry. Sharu sneered and said that Sun Gohan was trembling all over, but he was not angry at all. Well, since you won't be angry, I'll have a good time with your mates. Sharu smiled slightly, and with a flick of his figure, he quickly appeared opposite Krillin. Krillin shivered with fright. Lu grabbed the fairy bean bag in Krillin's hand. This is a good thing, let me keep it here for now. Sharu smiled, flew back, and counted, there are 7 people in total, then, I'll let you guys have fun. At this moment, a figure came quickly and hugged Sharu. 16. Sand froze. Gia, forgive me for involving everyone, this is a powerful bomb I'm hiding in my body, I'm going to explode myself with Sharu. 16 shouted loudly. Everyone was shocked. Bulma's home. After Bulma saw that number 16 was about to explode, she couldn't help but turn pale and I took out the bomb from his body. Bulma smiled bitterly. Yes, I see. Vados nodded. He was finally repaired, and he just wanted to blow himself up. Human thinking is so weird. Rose said thoughtfully. He's not a human, he's a robot. Bulma corrected that although he was a robot, he was also made by Human 080, and possessed a human mind. Vados smiled and replied for Ruosi. Well, what Sister Vados said is right. Ruosi nodded. Why can't I explode? Silence on the 16th. 16th, when I went to Bulma's house last time, Bulma said that you have a very powerful bomb in your body and said it was dangerous, so it was removed. Sun Wukong scratched his head and said something to number 16. What did you say? Number 16 was speechless. He, I didn't expect to die with the bomb. Cheyenne smiled contemptuously, and the hand can emerge. Boom. Powerful energy, directly where the body of size 16. Suddenly, number 16 fell apart. 6 feet's head rolled to the vicinity of the 3 of Satan, so scared that the 3 of them hugged each other, and the whole body was trembling and Sun Gohan almost changed color. Yes, a little pissed off. Sharu said to Sun Gohan with great interest, then, let's continue. Immediately afterwards, Sharu spread his tail behind him. 6 little Sharu were born. Sharu, your opponents are the guys over there, one by one, play with them. Sharu laughs. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 139 Beerus, are you having a nightmare? The little Shalus looked ferocious, and quickly swept their partners in the direction of Sun Wukong and others, be careful. They are powerful. Monkey King loudly displayed everyone to be more vigilant. Comment bang bang. The two sides soon started fighting. The strength of Vegeta and Xiao Sharu is evenly divided, and it is difficult to tell the winner for a while. Sun Wukong, who does not have much physical strength, is a little dangerous. Piccolo is similar to Sun Wukong, and he is completely at a disadvantage. As for Qin and Tianjin Fan, it was even more tragic, and they were simply vulnerable. Stop. I tell you to stop. Sun Wufan's whole body is shaking with anger. It's almost, and a little bit more angry. Sharu smiled and said loudly, "Okay, little Sharu, the game is over, kill them as much as I like." Sun Gohan's face became extremely ugly. At this moment, a head flew over from a distance and landed at Sharu's feet. Shahui glanced at the distance, knowing that it was an artificial human thrown by Satan. Sun Wufan was also obviously taken aback. "Oh, it's number 16. Are you still alive?" Shalu glanced at number 16 feet's head. "Sun Gohan. Fighting for justice is definitely not a sin. Some people can't reason with him." Number 16 looked at Sun Gohan said feebly, "Put down your burdens, vent your anger freely. I understand how you feel, but please don't endure it any longer." "Good advice, but I have my own way. You are too busy, 16th. The policeman sneered at Sun Wufan. "Please, protect the nature and animals I love." Number 16 laughed at Sun Wufan. Tears welled up in Sun Wufan's eyes. His body was shaking, but he couldn't say anything. Click. At this moment, Shalu slammed his foot and smashed number 16 feet's head to metal with his own business. "You rubbish." Sand snorted. At this moment, in Sun Wufan's mind, a flame of anger suddenly flashed through and rumbled. Sun Wufan screamed in the sky, and the breath on his body erupted endlessly. At the same time, the whole body of Sun Wuhan, the vast energy of electric arcs emerged one after another, and suddenly swept the whole planet. Super Femin Tier 2. Transform. In the case of extreme anger, Sun Gohan finally completed his transformation and became a Super Saiyan Tier 2. Super Saiyan Tier 2 referred to as Super Saiyan 2, or is it Super Saiyan? Such a powerful breath. Vados was stunned for a moment. The intensity of this breath has even surpassed the god of the realm, king of the 7th universe, Shin. Is it because the current Kaiwang of the 7th universe is too bad? Ruosi pondered. I remember the last Kaiwang of the 7th universe, and his strength was very good. Unfortunately, I heard that in order to seal a guy named Moruo, he consumed too much divine power, and he was killed by a man named Hayes. Boo's guy was devoured. It's so sad. Roger glanced at Josie. See what I do, am I right? Ruosi pouted the cat. You know quite a bit about the 7th universe. Roger smiled. Did Myers tell you? Don't tell you. Josh hums. Speaking of which, Beerus-sama is also life-threatening, and thanks to his foresight, he sealed the old Kaiwang god associated with his life. Vados sighed. Otherwise, I'm afraid that during the time when Lord Beerus was sleeping, he might just disappear. That lazy cat knows how to sleep. Ruosi nodded. If I practice in the 7th universe, I'll wake him up alive. Silly sister, you are an angel. When did you learn so rough? Angel, it's not right to use force to solve problems. Ahem. Ruosi, stop and stop. As an intern angel, you must have a peaceful heart. Vados persuaded you to see, doesn't the transformation of a Super Saiyan still need a peaceful heart? Our angels also need this kind of peaceful heart and a peaceful mind. Sister Vados, I am very peaceful. Ruosi replied strangely that I was so rude. I am an angel. Vados was tired and kept silent. Vados decided that after returning Roger's things this time, he must stay away from the planet of Bizons in the 7th universe. Beerus yawned, then shivered and opened his hazy eyes. Sir Beerus, are you having nightmares? Weiss asked with a smile if a female angel was born recently. Beerus was half asleep, yawning non-stop, and asked confusedly. However, after Beerus finished asking this question, he tilted his head and once again commented that Weiss fell asleep. Silent for a moment. I don't know when my sister and Ruosi will end this game. Weiss pondered, but, sister can be silent for a while. What am I thinking? Sister will definitely win. Weiss nodded vigorously. Earth, Sharu gained scene. The transformation of Monkey King made Sun Wukong and others excited. Hum, finally transformed, more and more interesting. Sharu laughed loudly and Xiao Wufan waved his hand lightly and snatched the fairy bean bag from Sha's hand. The next moment, Sun Wufan flew to Xiao Sharu who was fighting against Keelan. Xiao Sharu was scared to death. She shrank back. Sun Wufan raised his head and looked at Xiao Sharu with his nose, with a look of no net wow. Sharu shouted and rushed towards the bitter Sun Gohan. As soon as Sun Wufan learned, he directly shattered Xiao Shalu's head. The rest of the 5 little Sharu were stunned, gritted their teeth one by one, and rushed towards Sun Gohan. Sun Wufan punched and killed the 4 little Sharu easily. The last little Shalu didn't fry when he saw it, and rushed into the sky quickly, and he was about to escape from the scene. Sun Wufan's speed was faster, and he passed Xiaoshilu. Li Haojiao waved his hand gently, and shattered Xiaoshilu's body. The head Sun Gohan casually threw the fairy bean bag to Piccolo, and then landed on the opposite side of Sharu. Gohan Piccolo was surprised and delighted. Sun Gohan, who is comparable to his own son, has finally grown up. Sha looked stunned, staring at the opposite Sun Gohan without blinking. Humph, this time we can have a good time. Lu smiled coldly. Sun Wufan didn't speak, and looked at Sharu with a pulse. Sharu takes the initiative. Sun Gohan dodged sideways. Immediately afterwards, Sun Gohan's heavy punch directly bombarded Sharu's abdomen. Shalu spit out a mouthful of blood. Sun Wukong shot into the sky, hit Shalu's chin. Shalu groaned, squatted on his butt, and fell to the ground. Ha, ha, Sun Gohan walked towards Sharu with a smile. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 140 Number 18, Don't Fall. Sharu's face changes color. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Sand rushed forward and launched a violent attack on Sun Gohan after 10 seconds. Sun Wufan took a big kick and kicked Sharu to Tianlu, suspended high in the air, his eyes were splitting. Unbearable, unforgivable, Sharu shouted loudly. Sun Gohan's mouth has an evil arc. Maximum strength. Qigong wave. Sharu's hands condensed energy, and a large Qigong wave slammed down towards Sun Gohan below. Flash. Sun Wufan snorted coldly, his right hand suddenly released more powerful energy, and directly swallowed Sharu in the sky. After the smoke dissipated, Sharu's mutilated body was revealed. Sharu's left leg was knocked off, a piece of right kidney was also missing, and even his head was damaged to varying degrees. Sharu recovered a little through regeneration. Body. Gohan, kill him now. Don't give him a chance to breathe. Sun Wukong said loudly. Sun Wufan glanced at Sun Wukong, smiled, and didn't say anything. Dad, don't worry, just kill him like this, it's too easy to announce him. I haven't had a good time with him, Sun Wufan chuckled lightly. Gohan. Sun Wukong gritted his teeth and looked helpless. When the sand beast finally recovered its body through regeneration. Immediately afterwards, Shalu took a deep look at Sun Wufan, fell from the sky, and landed on the opposite side of Sun Wufan. Weird, Sun Wukong was stunned. What's wrong, Goku? Keelan has already recovered after eating the fairy beans, and he asked quickly, but he just felt that Shalu's aura had suddenly changed. Sun Wukong frowned. Shalu's aura changed. Is it normal? He is not Gohan's opponent. Krillin laughed. Sun Wukong is looking at the sand without turning his eyes. Vegeta also looked in Sharu's direction without speaking. That's right, Sun Gohan, your outstanding performance really impresses me. Shalu smiled. Speaking of which, I would like to thank you very much. You let me complete the fusion of cells. What? Sun Wufan was slightly startled, a little puzzled. Generally speaking, most of the cells in my body are fused into my body after absorbing the cells of the warrior at the embryonic stage. Sharu explained, after I was born, the cells absorbed through the tail need a period of time to completely convert them into energy that they can use. What do you want to say in the end? Sun Gohan doesn't understand. Do you know now, why did I use 10 days to hold the Sharu game tournament? I just need this buffering and blending time. Sharu smiled all over his face, and regardless of whether Sun Gohan understood it or not, he explained himself, and I also discovered that if I want to win this newest cell as soon as possible, I need to fight frantically and do my best. Battle. Sun Wufan's perilous confusion. New cells. What cell? Whose cells? Now you understand why I want to make you angry and push you beyond your own limits. Shalu Wei Wei, I don't understand what you're talking about. Sun Wufan snorted coldly. Anyway, you're dead. You'll understand soon. Sharu smiled, and a murderous aura erupted from his body, as if the whole world had become cold at this moment. Silently, the earth seemed to freeze. However, Sun Wufan felt that his whole body seemed to be caught in an ice cave, and he couldn't help but hit a Duoga Shalu attack. Seeing the sand, I don't know how to move, and in an instant, he appeared directly opposite to Sun Gohan, and the head of the school bombarded Sun Gohan's chest heavily. Blood spurted from Sun Wufan's mouth, and the danger became pale. At the same time, Sun Wufan's eyes were filled with disbelief. After Shalu hit with one hit, he didn't follow Aya's attack, but looked at Sun Wu Bfae with a smile. How was it, Sun Gohan? Although my energy is not up to your level, my murderous aura is enough to make up for the lack of energy. Salu laughed wildly. Sun Wufan stared at Shalu with a stunned expression. Sun Wukong and others present were even more shocked. No one thought that Sharu would use such a strange trick. That endless murderous aura, what exactly is competition? The summoning order of the number one killer in the world. Could it be that he was summoning Sharu? Krillin was thoughtful. Bulma's home. The exciting moment is coming. Roger, shall we go and see it? Vados's face is full of spring breeze. Okay. Roger nods. Roger, I want to go see it too. Bulma said by the side. Okay, let's go together. Roger has no objection. If it's not troublesome, take me with you too. Number 18 said solemnly. This is a battle for the fate of the entire Earth. If Sha really beats everyone, then the Earth is finished. Lu should kill all humans. 8 took a deep look at Roger, Vados, and Russ. As they said, they would remain neutral and would not meddle in their own business. Perhaps, even if Roger was concerned, he would only take bullion. The Ma family was rescued, and they may not care about their own lives. Roger took Bulma and number 18 into a colorful flame, and disappeared in a flash. In the blink of an eye, Roger and 2 girls appeared in the sky above the Sand Zung Game battlefield, and Vados and Ruosi followed closely behind. Roger's scepter flashed with flames and hit Bulma. Bulma, you can hang in the air now. Roger smiled straight. Won't fall off. Bulma glanced at her feet, and she was really suspended in the air. So amazing. So, can I fly? Bulma asked excitedly. If you want to fly, it's not impossible, but it's better not to run around. It's easy to fall out of my range. Roger was scared. Bulma was really frightened, and hurriedly hugged Roger like an octopus. Rose stared. The 18th, you can dance the sky, so I don't have to take care of you alone. Roger nodded slightly to 18th Avenue 18. But be careful, it's best not to go down or they'll find you. Roger smiled. Of course, if you think you can be of any use, you can also go down and join in the fun on the 18th. I can't get down. Am I that stupid? You are a genius, remember in a second.